Ah, gosh. Fuck. Sorry about that, guys. I was literally just talking this whole time. All right, let me just restart that. I'm gonna cut out the other part. Sean Gunn says in 1980, CEOs made 30 times what the lowest worker was making. Now Bob Iger makes 400 times what his lowest worker is making. I think that's a fucking shame, Bob, and maybe you should look in the mirror and ask why is that? Is it morally okay? Okay. I'm going to replay what Sean Gunn said here now that you guys can actually hear me. And yeah, I agree. You know, I understand that the CEOs and stuff of many companies are going to make more than the workers below. But it's to a point where like workers are making literal crumbs. You know, it's to a point nowadays in general with just the economy. People got to get like 2 jobs or even more just to survive nowadays. I'm not saying every job is going to offer you a livable wage, you know, but like it's to a point where shit, everybody is barely like living to a degree. Now, some people have better than others. Like here in America, you know, hey, it's a lot easier to get a job now. People in other countries, man, they're you know, they don't have what we have. But still, at the end of the day, I think for any work you do, you should be fairly compensated for it. There shouldn't be no lowballing. There shouldn't be no, you know, bargaining for you to get a lower wage than what you're expected to get for the work that you put in. And I believe that for any business. That's how I believe. I believe you should be fairly compensated all the way. You know, there's nobody shouldn't be trying to shorten you or you know, diminish your value as a worker. Now, if you're not working, if you being a lazy motherfucker, okay, I totally understand. But that's not the case for a lot of people. There you have some bad apples in there, but there's more hardworking people out here than most, and a lot of them go underappreciated. Especially these people that's making this stuff. Like you don't see Bob Iger out there in the trenches actually making these movies. You know, on set directing this stuff. You know, he just barks orders. He hires people to go and do this stuff for him. I'm not saying he needs to know how to direct films and stuff. What I'm just saying is you are hiring people that's actually out there doing the work, and you are not appreciating them as you should. Right? Mind you, these people are working for you. They're taking time out of their day to come and do this. Honestly, they just here to survive. They're here to make their money. But there's some of them that are, most of them are very passionate about the work they are doing. And even passionate people are not being appreciated for what they're doing. So let's hear what Sean Gunn has to say yet again.
Talks about.
Let me know if you guys can hear it. Want to make sure y'all can hear the audio. What's good, Darkness? What's good, Tony? Hollywood need to pay these writers, man. You know what? And you guys, I fully support this strike. Let's do it. Hell, VFX industry, get in on this strike. Let's go. Let everybody go on strike. Let's do it. Time to cripple Hollywood. It's time to change some stuff. The whole thing with Hollywood needs to change. These past couple years have been very telling. The failure of the sequel trilogy, the failures of DC as a brand when it comes to live action movies, bad writing all around for so many stuff. Streaming has heavily affected these films and everything. Same day streaming during COVID, man, that was probably that. Looking back at it, that same day streaming shit was not worth it. A lot of things in these past couple years have not been worth it. You know, with Warner Brothers, you know, how they handled the Snyder situation, many things like just bad business practices all around. Disney crippling the Star Wars brand. Disney pumping out so much content that they pretty much devalue their own brand. You know, the MCU does not feel special anymore. They're like pumping out all these shows and shit, random shows with some funky ass writing. And, you know, there's a whole bunch of issues all around. And recent examples, Prey, the Predator movie. That movie was $65 million, and they wasted a Predator film on streaming when Disney could have put that movie in theaters and guarantee make like 300 million back. That would have covered the budget and the marketing. You would have at least made a profit, but you wasted that movie on streaming. You wasted $65 million on streaming, and you're not going to make that money back in the timely manner you think you will.
Talks about what a shame it is. He needs to remember that in 1980, CEOs like him made 30 times what their lowest worker was making. Now Bob Iger makes 400 times what his lowest worker is. And I think that's a shame, Bob. And maybe you should take a look in the mirror and ask yourself, why is that? And not only why is that, is it okay? Is it morally okay? Is it ethically okay that you make that much more than your lowest worker? And if so, why? Why is that okay? If your response is that that's just the way business is done now, that's just the way corporations work now, well, that sucks, and that makes you a person if that's your answer. So you should come up with a better answer than that.
I agree. And that's the common answer with everything nowadays with business corporations. It can be for anything. It's just the way the business is. That's just how it is. That's the business. It is just what it is. Like, why is that the answer for every scummy decision that goes on in Hollywood? It's just the business. It's just the business. It's just the business. You know, these studios like to talk about how they appreciate their workers. They appreciate the art. They appreciate all that. And then you get situations like Batgirl, where they literally canceled a film that was almost done. I don't care if you liked it or not. I don't care. I don't care if you thought it was going to be good. I don't care if you thought it was going to be bad. Ain't no way you going to tell me that's pro art the way they handled the Batgirl situation. I'd understand if Batgirl was just in the scripting phase, and you canceled it, because that's what happens. What's up, Darkness? That happens with a lot of movies. A lot of films get canned at the scripting phase, right? You're not in too deep. You're just at the scripting phase. And some even get canceled before that, like Ava DuVernay, New Gods. But the fact that Batgirl was literally past post-production and they canceled it. And Warner Brothers wants to, and David Zaslav, his reasoning for it was, Batgirl was going to hurt the DC brand. There was also financial reasons too, but Batgirl was going to hurt the DC brand. And then David Zaslav promotes The Flash. He promotes Black Adam. He promotes, he didn't really promote Shazam, but he promotes Black Adam and Flash. Right. Both these films are tremendous failures. They have hurt the DC brand.
Yeah. Well, it's mainly not just because of just the films in general. It's also just because they're part of an old dead universe that just the general audience aren't interested in anymore. And these films are just part of that. And it looks like as if it's just like they're just going to continue it, but it's just like people just aren't going to just be interested in it no matter what it is. As long as it's like DCEU, people aren't going to really care about it. As long as it's something like the Matt Reeves Batman universe or the Todd Phillips Joker universe, like people are going to be interested in that more than the DCEU because of with what happened, for example, in 2017 with Justice League. And if you have a situation like that again of where, oh yeah, you promote a DCEU film, but people aren't going to be interested in it, that's going to tell you again that people are just done with the DCEU and just want to move on to what is going on with this new main universe that Gunn and Safran are creating, which people are going to have to wait a little longer for that, obviously, because of this strike. So that sucks, but it makes sense.
And just to make it clear, right, you guys, I'm not trying to make this a DC thing. It's just a whole bunch of factors into the recent practices of Hollywood. Like Hollywood has been downhill, I'd say, since the last strike we had. That period when that first strike happened, we had X-Men Origins Wolverine, badly written film, so many dumb decisions. Transformers 2, I'm shocked that they even made a watchable film, but even that film, shitty script, weak, and they let it come out. And then during the 2010s, the Marvel MCU has some successes. We're not going to take that away, but Star Wars tanked. Stuff like Ghostbusters 2016. It was just a shift in these 2010s with the film industry that, there were some good ideas here and there, but now looking at it all, a lot of it was not worth it. A lot of decisions that was being made, even Prey. I understand why they put that on streaming, because they don't want to take a risk on that franchise like that anymore to put it in theaters after the abysmal Predator 2018. But Predator 2018, prime example. Sean, who's the guy that directs? Shane Black. Shane Black.
All right, Shane Black.
He was in the first Predator movie. You would think a guy that acted in the first Predator movie would understand how the franchise goes. Then he releases a movie that's totally unfamiliar to the franchise, a straight up Predator comedy film. That movie was a comedy. Not a comedy in like, oh, it's just funny bad. It was really a comedy, and the Predator franchise is not a comedy. It's a horror action-esque franchise. You had him do that movie and come up with the most bland, dumb plot. Oh, now let's make the Predators into giant super predators and they fight little predators. Like, what is that?
Yeah, like what was the point of them even fighting in the beginning? That's what I still want to know to this day. Like, what did he do? What did the little predator do that made the big one come down?
Right, and then he just brings down to give humans like predator killing weapons to kill predators that's trying to come kill them. It was just stuff that's all over the place. But still, Hollywood has been in shambles, and at this point, with this strike that I support and I'm all for, I'm glad for it.
Yeah,
and we have another comment from Sean Gunn. Now, this is going to link to my Snyder topic in the beginning. Not sure if anybody's seen this thread, but we're going to go through it.
Oh,
so Sean Gunn,
morons after this,
right? Because all Sean Gunn came here and did was talk about, how personal this strike is for him. Which people who go protest, it's also a personal thing, and it's also for the cause too. Now, there's some people that when they go protest, they don't really protest. Like, for example, when we had the Black Lives Matter protest, right? There's some people that was protesting online. Then you have people that's out there in the trenches, going out there and protesting on the streets and stuff. Right. Now, my opinion on those type of protesters, shouts out to the people who are actually out there protesting. Because the way I've seen a lot of people reacting to Sean Gunn's video, a lot of people was calling him out for like, oh, why aren't you calling out Warner Brothers? Why aren't you calling out your brother? Why aren't you calling out David Zaslav? Sean Gunn wouldn't be out
everything about the hate DC crowd. They don't actually care about this strike. They just want to get what they want, no matter how good or bad it is.
But see, Darkness, this thing. If Sean Gunn cared so much about Warner Brothers, he wouldn't be out here protesting on the front lines.
That is true. Because
David Zaslav is against his protests. David Zaslav is above James Gunn. David Zaslav could tell James Gunn, you better fire your brother. He's against the cause. Why is he out there protesting against me? He's literally on the front lines at the strike, and they think this guy is like being some Warner Brothers shield. He's against him being out here on these front lines with these other people that's on strike means he is against these corporations right now, all of them. If he wasn't against any of them, then he wouldn't be out here. He would not be out here. But we're gonna play this video. It's only 4 minutes, but Sean Gunn's gonna dive into why he's out here and talk about the bigger, angle for this strike. And then we'll get to the comments right after this, because these comments are hilarious.
Oh, dude, I can't wait.
What's good, big bro?
Well, first of all, I've been a proud member of SAG for over 25 years. And so it's important for me to come out. But I also...
Oh, just to give some clarification, I did not know this because I never really seen the show. Sean Gunn used to be in Gilmore Girls. If anybody watched that TV show, I didn't watch it, but he used to be a part of Gilmore Girls. And he's going to bring that up here in this video.
Particularly wanted to come out and protest Netflix because I was on a television show called Gilmore Girls for a long time that has brought in massive profits for Netflix. It has been one of their most popular show for a very long time, over a decade. It gets streamed over and over and over again, and I see almost none of the revenue that comes into that. the CEOs of Netflix, Reed Hastings and Ted Sarandos, give each other bonuses of in the tens of millions of dollars. Ted Sarandos made $40 million with the bonuses that they made with their corporate profits. I don't understand why they can't lessen those bonuses to share the wealth more with the people who have created the content that has gotten them rich. And it really...
Real quick, and that's what I want to comment on. The people who sit at the top, they're hiring people in any job in general. Hell, Jeff Bezos. I used to work at Amazon, right? I used to work in a warehouse. The people who work in the warehouse, they get paid crumbs compared to what Jeff Bezos makes. He doesn't even really see the conditions of what goes on in his warehouses that bring him in so much money.
Because he doesn't actually care about them. They just do whatever he says, and he just tells them to just do what he wants without actually like really giving them a lot that actually will help them. And he's just like taking advantage of them, basically. That's basically what it is.
And mind you, it's so bad working at an Amazon warehouse. The little drivers, like, they have to pee in bottles. And there's a reason they do that while they're on their routes. If they don't move quick enough on their routes, like, they can't even really take bathroom breaks. Because if they're not moving at a certain pace to at a rate to deliver these packages, they're going to be in trouble. Yeah, so most of them can't take piss breaks like that. They literally drive in their vans, and that's just one of the things. That's just one thing, guys. There's more to it. But the people below are being treated like shit, while the people at the top are sitting in their little mansions and stuff, sitting comfortably and stuff, and then complaining about the people down below that's bringing in all their profit and not appreciating them the way they should. I'm not saying everybody's going to get paid an equal amount. You know, there's levels to it, but respect your workers, respect the people that are doing the work for you, you know, that are actually, that are just, yes, it's a choice to work at these jobs, many jobs, but this is a common thing. This is a common thing that happens at even if you work at fast food, tech, just any job in general. A lot of this stuff keeps happening and it's getting annoying. Hell, some of this stuff even happens in places I've worked at. You know, and after this, we're gonna bring up something about the Runaways, the Marvel TV show. Well, actually, we'll bring it up now. So one of the actors on the Marvel Runaway show said that when their show got canceled, they was not notified of the cancellation. They found out later that it was being canceled. Same thing with Jason Kilar when he did the same day streaming and pushed all those films to streaming without telling Gal Gadot, Patty Jenkins, James Gunn, Denis Villeneuve that, oh, your movie's going to streaming now. And some of them found out through the internet that their stuff went to streaming. And it's like, and mind you, this does not just happen in Hollywood. The fact that these businessmen don't have the balls to go to their employees and tell them, hey, we don't want to continue with this. We want to move on from this, or we want to do this. Why are we finding out? Why are your employees finding out through the internet that something's being canceled that they're working on, or being
stabbing them in the back? Totally stabbing them in the back is what it is.
Right. And just to make it clear, that just doesn't happen in Hollywood. That happens at almost any job you work at. Hell, it might happen at a McDonald's. You might find out about some new system you're doing at work, and you don't find it out from the proper management as you should. So let's continue this.
Really, it's a travesty. And if the answer is, well, this is just how business is done, this is just how corporate business works, that sucks. That makes you a bad person. And you really need to rethink how you do business and share the wealth with people. Otherwise, this is all going to come crashing down. And so I'm happy to be out here, and we need a fair deal.
Would you say that for you, residuals are the most important issue on the table, or what other issues are really important to you in these negotiations?
Obviously, AI is incredibly important. I can't pretend that I understand the ins and outs of all the facets of the AI issue, but I know that being compensated for use of one's likeness is incredibly important and needs to be a part of an equitable part of this deal. I also just feel in general that sharing in streaming revenue somehow, it needs to be rethought of. As Fran Drescher said yesterday, the whole business model has fallen apart really, and so we need to kind of restructure it from the top and do something where we equitably share profits. And if they're making less profits, that's fine. But then they can't. Then the producers can't keep taking the profits that they've been getting all along. You got to reduce your profits if you're reducing profits. So yeah, it's
and honestly, everybody, just for these people to reduce their profits, like Bob Iger and them, they won't lose what they have. They won't lose their $1 billion mansions and stuff. Like they'll still be fine.
Right.
Like it's these workers not asking you to give them everything you own, give them everything you're making. Just take a cut. And honestly, I forgot which business recently did this, but one of their CEOs, not sure if it was Apple or something, took a pay cut for their employees so they can get more than what they usually got. It happened like I think 2 years ago. It was a big company. It was not a little company. I forgot which one it was. It was a tech company, CEO that did it. But taking a cut will not hurt these CEOs that much. It will not, trust me.
Yeah, it ain't gonna hurt them, obviously. But I mean, like, here's the thing though with this strike. I mean, it's like, I don't know if you heard about this, but did you hear about Hollywood's plan on the whole strike? And
yeah, they want to wait it out until they start to like lose their homes.
Yeah, when a bunch of their writers become homeless and all that, which that right there is automatically just fucked up. And that's really like, in my opinion, this is really going to be that right there is going to be really eye-opening if that happens, if we really do go down that route to where we're like a few months from now that starts happening, people are really going to start looking at Hollywood very differently. I mean, people are. Oh, am I
no, you're good. You're good. Yeah, that's the thing. I always looked at Hollywood weird in the sense, like, you know, so, like, I understand there's some stuff just part of the business that you can't really like fight against. That's just what it is. But this right here, their whole the route they want to take in order to win the Hollywood is really disgusting. Like, I can't even condone that. Like, you guys are really wanting these people to like lose their jobs when you can just honestly pay them better. And they will give you some promising work. This is the thing. If you don't pay people I'm not saying you need to overpay, but if you don't pay people good enough for whatever job they're doing, they're not going to have the motivation to work. Right? That's what I noticed. When I worked at Amazon before I got my current job, that I'm happy at getting paid a lot more than usual, but when I worked at Amazon, I started getting very bored there, like very bored. And mind you, I was transitioning to a point where I was waiting to hear back from my current job about, hey, you can go ahead and start. So I just got super fucking lazy. I was just calling out more often. I was showing up kind of late because I was at a point like, I really don't care. Just if you want to let me go, let me go. But I was just holding out until like I move on to my next job because I'm just waiting for the call. And mind you, we was getting paid like $17.25 an hour. You know, okay, cool. That's better than most places. It's better than a lot of places. But the work I was doing wasn't worth it. It's not that it was hard. It's not that it was bad. It's just like the shit is so damn. I got literally bored. You're sitting at a fucking conveyor belt, moving boxes. You're literally turning into a robot doing that shit. It is so draining. I'm not saying work is always going to be fun, but damn, like, and then just the bad conditions there in general. You know,
exactly.
You couldn't really take bathroom breaks like that if you wanted to. Like, it was just so much fucked up conditions going on there in general. Just messed up stuff. And then you're already working with like immature higher ups, like immature supervisors and stuff that, you know, it was all bad all around. It like the money wasn't bad. It's just the condition of what you're working in is not worth it.
The way how they were treating you, though, bottom line, like not like aside from just pay, but just treatment in general.
Oh, and then another thing too. When I first started there was a guy that was supervising. He wanted me to like move up to like maybe a potential supervisor position, right? I really didn't care because I was like, okay, cool, then I'll do it. I started doing some of the the job requirements that requires for me to move up into that position. And then new people started coming in. Then they started trying to push them to get that position. I'm like, what's going on? You literally was just like, you got my hopes up for no reason to move up to a different position. And then somebody else comes in, then you start trying to move them up into that position. Like, what happened? And then at a point I was like, because the money is good, but like you do want to move up at some point.
Right.
You just don't want to stay stagnant. And that's what kept me from being motivated to work there. I was just stagnant. I was like, I'm not really going nowhere here. At my recent job, I just leveled up to like a new, totally different position there where I'm getting paid way more. And I love it. Right? I love it. At my last job, I'm just stuck in one position when, I could be moving up. I was like, you know what? I'll go move up somewhere else. I'll go move up in a place where I can be appreciated. I'm far more appreciated at the current job I'm at than the last job. And that's what I believe. That's my experience of where I work at. I feel like I am appreciated more than when I was at Amazon.
Yeah.
And that's just what you got to do sometimes, because these businesses are not going to change unless people like the actors and actors and writers do stuff like this, like go on strikes to really push it back against these companies. Because I guarantee you, if you're working at Amazon, if all Amazon employees just, quit all at the same time, Amazon will crumble.
Oh, 100%.
They will crumble. They will just fall apart. But mind you, it takes unity to make stuff like this work. And the fact that the actors are on it now with the writers, that's why a part of me hopes the visual effects industry jumps in on it too. The people working in stunts, I hope they jump in on this too.
You know what? I'm gonna squeeze something in there real quick on what you were just saying, because I heard what you were saying about the VFX artists and with what they've been going through with what the poor treatment they were going through with that Marvel Studios went through with them. I'm not mistaken. It's not just them that are also. It's not just with Marvel that they're kind of having issues with. They're having issues, I think, with like more than like all the other companies as well, aside from Marvel, that are getting that mistreatment, that overworking, not a lot of pay treatment, just like the writers are. And so I'm not really certain if that is the case. Is that the case, or is it just with Marvel? Because I'm not really.
No, it's also, I think Warner Brothers might be doing, because looking at The Flash recently, I like the movie, but
yeah,
ain't no way with those VFX, because in some scenes, especially in the Chrono Bowl scenes with those CGI face models with Christopher Reeves and stuff, and the CGI bodies in the Chrono Bowl.
Yeah,
they gave me flashbacks of the mustache situation from Justice League 2017.
Oh god.
And the way that fell apart was because the guy who worked on the mustache only had like 24 hours to work on that.
Oh,
he only had a day to make that happen and make it somewhat like, work. I guarantee if that guy had more days to work, that mustache CGI would have probably been a lot better. But if the Flash movie came out like that, those VFX artists clearly didn't get enough time to work on it like they should have.
Yeah,
because ain't no way
or as much as they were claiming they were working on it, because like the movie was said to be delayed multiple times because there's so much CGI, so much VFX in the film. But it looked like as if like the CGI and the VFX wasn't even complete. So what was actually going on with a lot of these artists who were working on the film? Were they actually, did they ditch? Was there a secret VFX strike that no one knew about? And we're all just kind of like, oh, whoa, wait, so no, strike. But then they already struck and something already happened. I'm just kidding. But yeah, like, you know what I mean though? Like, because it's like they showed up. They didn't. Nothing really happened with the Flash, and that pretty much just kind of says that's like, well, then what really happened to? What was the real excuse for delaying this film? But even before the Ezra controversy, what was the point of then delaying the film? If
Yeah,
if the effects were bad.
Right, because looking back at it now, because that's the first reason they delayed it was because of the VFX. Same for Aquaman 2. Right. I hope Aquaman 2 visually looks better than the Flash, because that was one of the beauties of Aquaman 1, that it looked so visually amazing. Like it was something so different that hasn't really been done, and it came out so beautiful the first time, that beautiful underwater world that they showed us. Hopefully Aquaman 2 does not have any questionable VFX like the Flash. That's what I hope for. But
hopefully it's just not bad. Bottom line.
Yeah. I hope it's not even close to bad. I hope it looks perfect.
I know.
But yeah, let's finish up what Sean Gunn says. We're gonna get some of these comments. What's good, Tim? Nerdman, we're talking about the SAG-AFTRA strike. This is the strike that has to do with the actors, and they are joining the writers, protesting against Hollywood for better compensation, better pay, better wages in general.
It's a whole mess, and we need a new deal and a fair deal.
Fran gave a very passionate speech yesterday at the SAG-AFTRA press conference, and there was.
Oh yeah, wait. Let's make this clear about Blue Beetle, because we have to go over the rules.
I mean, who knows what's gonna happen with Blue Beetle?
I don't think it's gonna make any money at this point, and it's not his fault, because at this point they can't promote. The actors cannot even promote it, because the rules of the strike is that the actors cannot promote their films. They can't act in anything. They can't do any red carpet. They can't do any press junkets. Let me bring up the rules of the strike.
But the studios can still kind of promote the movies in trailers.
Though. Yeah. The studios can promote it, but like the actors, they can't. Like they can't even do red carpet for Blue Beetle. And you know, red carpet is very important for films.
Right. Exactly. It's like all of these movies and shows that are still yet to come out, they're obviously still going to be shown, but like obviously not at red carpets. They're just going to be shown in trailers though from now on, like on like commercial television, and it's just going to be like shown as like just trailers. And if they really want people to get interested, I'll bet you anything, they're just going to pump these trailers out like crazy and just try to like get as many people to watch all of these shows and movies as possible.
So real quick, guys, these are the rules, so everybody's clear of these strikes.
Right.
So during this strike, SAG-AFTRA members cannot do the following. These are actors. These are for the actors. They cannot do tours. They can't do personal appearances, interviews, conventions, fan expos. So they can't even go to San Diego Comic-Con this year. What's good, nerd?
Yeah. Will you stop with the excuses, bro?
Huh?
Will you stop with the excuses for this little shit, man? No,
it's right here. They can't even promote the movie.
Oh my God, here, bro. They can't afford to promote that movie, bro. Even if the actors,
the actors literally cannot promote the movie. They can't do a red carpet for it. They can't even talk about it. They can talk about it. They can't even promote it.
I keep telling you, DC's dead. It got punished by fans.
The DCEU is dead.
It got punished by fans, and the management was trash. The management kept, like, oh, the fans are saying this, so we're gonna swerve this way and swerve that way. The filmmakers were actually doing a good job. Most of them, or as many of them as their hit rate was as much as the MCU. Considering it only has 11 movies, right? Like 11 movies. Their strike rate was like pretty much as consistent as the MCU. But anyway, sorry. What were you talking about?
Wait. So how far are you caught up with the strike news? Like, have you been following most of it?
Not really. I mean, I don't really.
I've been keeping an eye on a lot of this.
I know there are broke actors and stuff like that who aren't like making the kind of money like the big actors are making. And I have some sympathy for them, but honestly, like I think acting being able to act is a privilege. Being able to work in Hollywood or work on these films is quite a privilege. So, in and of itself, but you need to be able to make a living. You need to be able to feed your family. You need to be able to live in these very highly expensive areas and all of this kind of stuff. So I understand it.
Well, Nerman, let me, because I'm not sure if you've seen this. So they're not sure who said this, but it was a Hollywood executive. People are speculating that it was more than likely Bob Iger who said this. Their tactic, and this goes for David Zaslav and all of them, their hope and their tactic is to wait it out until all these actors start to lose their homes and their and stuff, and then they start to just fold at that point. That's what was said. They are waiting for them to lose their homes and all that, so they will fold and crumble and just accept whatever proposal that they previously had that they didn't want to take. So that's Hollywood's goal in this strike. That's what they are hoping for. That happens.
And that right there, that's going to really show people and really make a lot more people that don't really know a whole lot about just how corrupt Hollywood is. This is really going to show people like how corrupt Hollywood really is and really make people look at Hollywood very differently.
You have to realize these studios. You have to realize these studios, they can't afford this either. You're asking for all this money from these studios. I know you think they're worth billions upon billions, but they're in the hole, man. A lot of these studios are in massive debt because we just essentially, like fans can go off about like, well, Hollywood pay these actors, but aren't we the ones who kind of watch shows like illegally and, like just watch them on like, whatever fucking thing online and don't like, support movies that we propose to love? I'm
not saying you're wrong about that. There is a lot of people.
We ain't getting paid by our fucking bosses enough, so it's all a fucking big cycle. And I don't think the studios, apart from Disney should pony up. They're the only ones that should really like be like, oh yeah, straight up, we can pay our people whatever they need. But the rest of the studios aren't doing that well.
But even that, like most of these CEOs, the problem is they don't want to take even a pay cut, right? And even if they take a pay cut, just a slight pay cut, it will not hurt what they have. They won't lose their mansions. They won't lose their billions of dollars. They only want to take a pay cut because at this point, and this is for everybody, especially here in America, the economy is so fucked up at this point that just to survive, you need to work at least 2 jobs. You need to have like a side hustle. I recommend everybody have like a side hustle, something on the side you're doing to make extra money. But nobody can't live somewhat comfortable in society in general. We're so busy fucking working all the time that it takes a toll on everybody.
I get what you're saying, but you have to understand that Hollywood, these films or the fan base of these films and TV shows has got exponentially better, or like exponentially asking for more than what studios were asking for in past. And the fact is, even when they give us more, we as fans of this stuff don't look. And I understand it. I'm not like trying to criticize fans on this, but I'm just saying, like, when you expect a TV show to be of the quality of Breaking Bad and Game of Thrones to even get its attention, to have like big time movie stars and whatever in it, that's expensive. When you expect, the films, the blockbusters or whatever to be like, look fantastic, look seamless in terms of the CGI, that's expensive. That's 200 million, whatever. And they're putting all of this in to grab our attention. And then we tell them to fuck off most of the time. Like 90% of the time, we tell them to fuck off on all these movies that they're like putting all this money into. A lot of them are crap, I'm not going to lie. So that's maybe why they're not getting our attention. But all of this shit is becoming more expensive, and it's because of what we demand as fans from Hollywood. And that means people are getting underpaid.
Well, that's why for all these studios, and I recommend all of them, because every summer movie this that just came out, Transformers, Indiana Jones, The Little Mermaid, The Flash,
Jinx.
Well, what's another one that came out? It was another one. Is that it?
Elemental.
All these movies have failed in the box office this summer, especially Transformers and Flash. All abysmal, not good at all. And there are so many external factors for the Flash's failure, but regardless, with that budget that it has, it should have not made what it made. It should have made more. Hell, the Transformers film that just recently came out, Transformers last night made like over 650 something million. Bumblebee made less than that. Transformers Rise of the Beast made 200 million less than last night. The money is going down. And the budget for Rise of the Beast was a little bit over 200 million. And Indiana Jones 5 is reported to have a $300 million budget. Why does an Indiana Jones film have a $300 million budget? I'm not saying Indiana Jones can't get it, but why does Indiana Jones have a $300 million budget? You should be able to make an Indiana Jones movie with a budget less than $150 million.
You should make an Indiana Jones movie, period, like right now. But like, given that you are going to make an Indiana Jones movie, the only way it will survive is by giving it a high budget. That's what I keep telling you about, like these latest DC movies, doing 6, 7, 8 movies for 110 million or 120 million. I don't think it's a sensible idea. Like, I would stick to focusing on to do it like this, what do you call it? This new Tom Cruise movie that's coming out where it's a part 1 of 2, or like the Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Make it a big event. They need to start making these movies big events, because that's the only thing that's going to grab these people's attention anymore, and stop making so many of them. To be honest,
there's going to be an apocalypse, and in that apocalypse, Nerdman is going to be drawing his last breath, and I will come in and I will tell him, as usual, everything he says is bullshit. However, there are small kernels of truth.
You're preaching, Mike.
The MCU slander hasn't started yet. I know he was warming up. I heard a little bit. That was the prelude. But to come on here and say this strike isn't about Tom Cruise. It isn't about like Jim Carrey. It ain't about the people that are making $1 million. The strike is about the people, the background players. The strike is about these people that, like, I heard that there was I think it was Disney maybe wanted to, like, AI. They wanted to scan the people in the background and then use their image in future things. Like, that's ridiculous.
That is true. Yes.
There is all of this stuff. This is like what Prince was talking about back in the day, and nobody listened to him, where there are people making money off of I heard the beginning of what you were saying, DC Dots, about like Sean Gunn brother, Sean Gunn rather. And what he's saying is true. I mean, if you have these companies, they're getting money, like, and you're not giving it to the people that were in the movie. Like, okay, so he might, I don't know, what was the movie that he was in? Gilmore Girls. So he wasn't necessarily making as much as whoever the leads were, the 2 chicks, but he was a background player. So that pay that he's getting should be in relation to his role. Like, obviously the females are going to be getting their leads, so they're going to be getting the most of the money. And he even mentioned that too. So why, like, these people, it's who this money is. Like, there's a shit ton of money going to people, and where is it going? Is it going to all these CEOs? I mean, there was a dude that was in Final Destination, and I don't know why he brought it up, but he said that they used, I guess it was the last one, they used his footage from the first one, because I guess it was like supposed to, they were doing that MCU stuff where, like, the sequel was actually the prequel or something like that, and they didn't pay him for that, allegedly. They just said, because he signed it in the contract. They did invite him to the red carpet for the whatever the last Final Destination movie was, but the footage of him in there that apparently was shot during the first movie, and he got no money for that, and that's bullshit.
And real quick, look at this. Mind you, this is not just an MCU thing. I imagine this happens to a lot of people in general. So the She-Hulk writer Cody Ziegler says his residual check is $396. He wrote the episode with Daredevil's return. And this episode, in my opinion, this is personally me, I think is the best and only good episode. Now,
I agree
with you. A lot of people, this was a lot of their favorite episode from this show because they brought back a fan favorite character that people really liked. And the fact that the writer's only getting $396 from it, like, geez. I'm not saying he needs to get $50,000 or $1 billion for it, but $396, I make more. I'm making more than that in my job. God, it's just, and mind you, this is if Disney is paying only this much to this guy, $396 for writing one of the best episodes of the season for this show. Imagine what's happening to other writers for other TV shows at Warner Brothers, Paramount, you know. And it's mind you, this is not just a Marvel thing. Even though the MCU is the devil, this is not just an MCU thing, guys. It's happening to everybody, and it sucks.
No, I know, but studios are going to cut. You have to agree that studios are going to cut costs when the expense of producing these things is so high. And we're the ones demanding.
Let me say this too.
You know, fans are demanding these things.
DC Dubs brought it up. Hold on. No, because he brought it up about Indiana Jones and the budget. The budget was high because this was shot during the pandemic and it was reshot. Yes. So all of that, this is why, like, I get it too, because I actually did see the movie. I thought it was good. It made me sad, not because it was bad or because it was woke or there was a woman in there or whatever, but because just seeing Indiana Jones, like, you know, I mean, growing up with him and all that stuff, like, I want Harrison to be, I want him to be vital the way he was. I want him to never die, but seeing that there, that was just kind of sad. But
yeah, exactly.
It was because of that stuff that, you know, that's why and most of these movies that are being released now, like Transformers, like you mentioned, all that stuff, that's part of the reason why these, I don't think they're literally, you know, like they have like these rooms filled with money and they're doing the Uncle Screw swim in there or whatever, or you know, sniffing cocaine off of hookers' asses with $100 bills or something like that. And each time they sniff, they use a different $100 bill, whatever the case is. I don't think they're frivolously throwing money away, but this was part of, they're trying to play catch up now. And they're trying to, with this new landscape, trying to spend smarter, you know?
Right.
And look at this too for Secret Invasion. Now, mind you, I've not seen this show. I'm waiting till all the episodes come out, but this is not about the quality.
You're not going to regret watching this. This is by far, in my opinion, so far anyway, it's one of the best Marvel Disney Plus shows to ever be released. This is better than Loki so far, in my opinion. So far. Not saying this is.
Is it Falcon and the Winter Soldier good? Because I'm not a huge fan of Loki.
No, what I mean by that, it's like, it's very, okay. Did you watch Andor?
No, I'm not going to watch it.
Okay.
Wait. Why are you not going to watch it?
I don't care about Cassian Andor.
I don't either.
Wait.
But watching it, you will.
I
don't want to care about him, Mike. I don't want to.
Dots. Here's the thing.
I'm not saying the show is bad, and I don't think it's going to be bad. I'm just not investing Cassian Andor as a character, and I don't want to watch it because of that. Like, I'm not going to waste time with him as a character.
No.
I don't think the show's bad.
No. Cassian Andor is not. You're saying that, like, no, Cassian
Andor.
Don't
let them guilt you into this. This motherfucker down here, Mike, didn't even go and watch Shazam. He's supposedly a Captain Marvel fan. And he didn't even go and watch
it. Nerdman.
Wait, didn't you watch it?
Even go and watch it.
No, I didn't.
Good movie.
Nerdman. 2 days ago,
watching Disney bullshit.
Hey, he did go see Flash in theaters. He saw Flash in theaters.
I did. 2 days ago, I saw John Wick. Okay, I'm catching up. Leave me alone. Okay, the first John Wick. I haven't seen any of them, so Shazam's on the list. Trust me.
But real quick, and with Secret Invasion, you know, most TV shows don't get a budget like this. Not saying they can't, but if you're gonna give this movie a $212 million budget, I would say they was better off doing this as a movie. like a 2-hour movie. Hell, even do a trilogy of the Secret Invasion 2-hour film. You get to bring in all the MCU heroes that need to be a part of this story, because this is Secret Invasion. This is no small scale event. This is a big scale event. It's a worldwide thing.
Yeah.
And this show is missing a lot of factors. Not saying it has to be comic accurate, but it's lacking a lot of MCU heroes in it that you need
I
to
watched
do
the first
Secret Invasion.
Have you seen any? You have
episode, and I've got to tell you,
Nah, I'm waiting until all the episodes come out.
No, but have you seen anything? I know you've been spoiled, because especially this last episode.
I seen the changes with the Super Scrolls. How Groot they're using Groot's cells, extremist, and it's not Fantastic Four abilities that are used for the Super Scrolls.
Okay,
I know the villain's name is Gravity.
Revelation this past episode. I'm surprised you haven't been spoiled, but okay.
Well, don't.
Rhodey's a Skrull.
Watch it. Don't spoil it.
I'm not saying it. I'm not saying anything.
No, but you've told him to look out for it now. No.
Look, I'll be honest. I don't care if I get spoiled, because I'm gonna watch it all at the end anyway. I've been getting spoiled, but I don't know the full picture of each episode. But I've seen a lot of the spoilers, like the Rhodey thing.
But see, aren't you letting the spoilers dictate your impression of the series, though?
Can you answer to my point?
What's your point?
Are fans, considering our consuming habits of TV shows and movies, not pushing these movies to be ever more expensive, and yet not supporting these movies at the same time as they're getting more expensive, and the TV shows as they're getting more expensive, but instead, either, unfortunately pirating it, or, if they're actually that interested, or, not going to see the movies, so the movies go bust. And that's impacting all of the people, all of the workers in these movies, because they've got to cut somewhere. Because if you've got to make the thing look beautiful, have the best actors, even though it's just a TV show, all of that kind of stuff, then you've got to cut corners somewhere. You've got to cut corners on the extras. You've got to cut corners on the CGI special effects artists. You've got to cut corners on all of that. So it's just to compete in this market. And that's
I don't necessarily. I don't think it's just compete. I think it's it's like a perfect storm of different things, like the pandemic and social media and YouTube and being locked in the houses and all that. That helped give rise to people who are just performatively hateful about things, because they know they can make money from it, whether they complain about there not being enough white people in there, not enough good white people in the movie, or if there's a woman in the lead, or a woman doing something, or a woman having an IQ over 20, whatever the case is, they found a way to bitch and moan about it, and that's affected the people who are lazy. And there are a lot of Americans do that, where they don't do their own research. Like if they see somebody reviewing something, oh, you know what, I'm not going to watch it. There are people that do watch it, and then you know what, they are 110% entitled to sit there and critique it and do it.
An utter toxicity when it comes to these
on all sides, not just DC, not just Marvel, Star Wars, every single one,
all of it, exactly. And it's disgusting. I have to leave Twitter.
And I think it started with The Last Jedi. I think that was the main thing that happened. And
it started all the way with Man of Steel, to be fair.
You want to go there?
I don't even though that kind of deserved it, it was too much.
Let's look at the periods like this, because it was multiple things.
Something such as constructive criticism,
right? But was Twitter as hot in 2013? I don't think it was. It
was still in its infancy.
That's why I wouldn't go back that far. Like literally, the thing I remember is The Last Jedi, where they were just hating everything, and it's a thing that can be added.
Yeah, it's because back when Man of Steel came out. Go ahead. Sorry, never mind.
Yeah, go. No, I was just going to say, even on YouTube, if you started seeing these, supposed experts on characters, like breaking down, like.
Well, you know how you can tell they're experts? Because they have Funko Pops behind them. If they didn't have any Funko Pops behind them, then they're not experts. That's how you know.
Right.
Just letting you know.
Well,
Sorry,
me and Darkness was talking about this just earlier because I think it's multiple factors, and it started, I would say, going back since the last strike to now. 2013 with Man of Steel. Granted, I didn't like the movie very much. Thought the movie was okay, but there was a weird bias going around. And then 2016 with BVS. Yes, the movie was not that good at all, but there was some bias going on with that type of stuff. Even back in 2016 with Ghostbusters and how that happened, right?
Oh, yeah.
That was just an abysmal failure all around. And then you get to something like 2018 Captain Marvel, right? How that film literally changed how Rotten Tomatoes works as a business just because of that one movie. Mind you, Captain Marvel is not the first movie that has been trashed, bashed, and what's the thing people do on these apps? Review bomb, like review bombed and stuff. And then, wait a minute. So you do that just for Captain Marvel, but not for BVS, Man of Steel, any other film in general, like not just DC, other films in general that have been bashed heavily on these sites, trashed, had any type of bias towards it, but just for Captain Marvel, and not doing it an MCU thing. But that film changed how Rotten Tomatoes works as a company. It has changed.
Sure, but I can see why, because like you look at it, and that's the beginnings of this anti-woke. That's another milestone. It was Man of Steel.
Right. It was multiple things. I'm just like, it's so much more to it.
Criticism. I remember like back then, even though I was like, yeah, what she said was kind of stupid, whatever. But like, I think she had good intentions, but she just worded it in a really weird way. But every single fucking solitary day, they had a new video on this chick. What's her name? Captain Marvel?
Brie Larson.
Brie Larson. Every single day. She hadn't said a word about all of this stuff since that time. And every single day there was like some new thing on like how she, like how woke she is and blah, blah, blah. It was ridiculous. I don't know how these people could be so creative in coming up with some new way of putting her in a YouTube
video. Was like clockwork.
So yeah, like that one was a big one, like, and I don't love that movie. I don't like that movie. I just think in the end of the day, it was like
people much over the top.
Pretty much middle of the ground of MCU. It was one of those watchable throwaway MCU movies. I didn't see it as all that bad. Like I didn't see it as great or good, but like I didn't see it as the clear dip in quality that like everybody was saying. So I don't know. All I'm saying is that our fan base has a lot to do with, and I know what you're saying about COVID and everything that happened during COVID, Mike, but this was from before COVID. This was always going to happen. Maybe like a little bit less, it wouldn't have been as soon as this, but within the next 2 years, this would have happened even if COVID wasn't around.
Yes, but I think COVID just helped accelerate it, like to supernova lengths, Like, yes, I agree with you, Nerdman, but I just think it made it worse because everybody was trapped inside.
Because what COVID did was, and I said this earlier, it conditioned majority of the audience, even the general audience, how powerful it was to look at a movie, see a trailer, go like, I'm just waiting until streaming. We couldn't say that back in the early 2000s, early 2010s. Like, there's no streaming services, just wait for it.
You have to go and watch the movie no matter what at that time.
Right. You can wait until DVD, but when the DVD came out, it was not as quick as how it is on streaming now.
Yeah.
And the movies have like a 45-day window for the most part still, and they need to stop this. They need to get rid of that 45-day window shit. Yeah. The Batman had a 45-day window. I'm glad it did good in the amount of time it did, but just imagine if the Batman did not have.
It didn't do that great, bro. It didn't do that great, and that was when I was shocked. That was when I was that was the beginning of me being shocked because I was like on the $1 billion train with it. I was hype beasting it a bit. I was like, you know, mixing it up, going, oh, it's going to make 2 billion. Obviously, I was fucking trolling whatever back then. It was a joke or whatever.
I mean, we know why it didn't. We know why it didn't.
You were trolling? I've never heard you troll, ever. What are you talking about?
We know why it didn't. But Nerman, we know, because even Nerman, me and you said it. We know why it didn't make $1 billion. Because Matt Reeves, while I liked the movie, he did pace that film kind of slow. I think the pacing of that movie had a big part of the rewatch value that people would have wanted out of it. It is rewatchable to me.
The movie had some flaws, but I don't think that's to do with it. It's to do with our fan base.
And also, I think Matt Reeves is also a TV director, so that's possibly had something to do with it too. Doesn't know how to frame an action sequence, but
oh my gosh,
there was no chemistry between
He
knows how to film an action sequence. He does.
You know,
Mike is right on that. Those action sequences left a lot to be admired. I think he was so much more focused on the story, which was good. It was a really good, and I love the twist and the turns of the story. But that first action scene where Batman just walks up to those thugs or whatever was garbage. It really was bad, you know. And it was
all right. It was all right. It wasn't garbage. It was all right.
It was pretty garbage.
It was an average Batman action sequence. It wasn't bad. Like the setup to it, I thought was really
Batmobile
good.
chase. I was expecting a little bit more from that Batmobile. I loved it, but I was expecting a little bit more from it. But I think the story was excellent, and I really love that he took it to that level and took Batman in areas that, you know, like we hadn't seen before, and I thought it was fantastic. But that movie would have made $1 billion at a certain point. The whole thing was these Snyder cats. The fact that, you know, I'm telling you, I'm sorry, Mike, MCU fans, the fact that DC thought that they could like grab MCU fans was just a mistake. It really was. It was a different kind. There was some crossover, but there was a different fan base there. And, you know, trying to appeal to the MCU fans, they just left us out in the dark. Everything you know, like they said, DC, make the films lighter.
When you say you, what are the you? What are the characteristics of the you that you're speaking about?
What do you mean you? Did I say you? Well, it was an accident. If I said, what I'm saying is that there was 2 fan bases: the Snyder fan base, who, you know, wanted the Snyderverse to continue,
and true DC fans,
and then you have like the MCU, and then like critics and stuff like that who were criticizing those movies and saying, make them lighter, do this, make them have some humor, DC did that.
And they made a good movie with Shazam.
And they made a good movie with Shazam. And guess what?
Right.
It made less than $400 million in the box office.
Do you know why? Because you had your toxic Snyder Bros.
Yeah, and the Snyder Bros as well. They're even worse. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, like, that thing hit the Batman's box office.
But that's part of your fandom. You gotta claim them. You gotta claim them, Nerdman. You can't just segregate yourself from them. You gotta claim those are your people. Those are your people.
What do you mean, my people? How do you mean?
Those are your people. You need to be responsible for them. You need to show them the way. Okay.
But look, we have to look at it like this. Even then, regardless if the Batman didn't make $1 billion, the Batman made more money than any DCEU movie since Aquaman, and same thing for the Joker. You know, that's what I say. It's just a DCEU brand that people are not fucking with anymore like that.
Right.
No,
they're done with
that.
DC itself is, people are still messing with it. They're not messing with the DC.
Excuses.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean.
What when Blue Beetle comes out? I want to see you when Blue Beetle comes out, and I actually think it looks.
I mean, at this point, Blue Beetle has no in Nerman. You have to. The Blue Beetle has no chance to even. It doesn't have legs to do anything. The actors can't promote it. They can't do red carpet. They can't.
Ezra Miller. First, you say it's Ezra Miller. What was the excuse with the Shazam movie? Oh, it was generic. generic my fucking ass. It was bullshit.
Who said that?
Black Adam. What was Black Adam's excuse? DC is.
I didn't have no. No, wait, wait. I admit all these movies have been box office failures.
Well, I can give you a Black Adam excuse. The Rock.
I mean, but we know Black Adam should have did way more money than it did. I agree, it should have did way more money. While I thought Black Adam was okay and I liked Black Adam, the box office return is not acceptable even for me. That movie should have made way more money. Not saying it needed to make $1 billion, but it should have made over 500 million.
It should have. All those movies should have made at least the Flash should have made $1 billion. I think Black Adam and Shazam were good enough to make 500 to 600 million. They quality wise, they were good enough to make that money, and they didn't.
But there is external value. There's external value that's hurting this shit.
No, it's a DC brand problem. It's a DC.
It's literally that has the bigger problem. All of the other stuff that DC puts out, people are interested in. Like, okay, for example,
what are you talking about?
Wait, you're saying you're saying problems with DC. So I mean,
it's just I'm telling you, it is literally.
So you're saying that people are interested.
People are still reading DC comics. People are still playing DC video games. People are still watching stuff like the Batman. People still watching stuff like Superman and Lois, the new Superman TV show.
More people should be watching Superman and Lois.
Exactly. There you go, Mike.
More people should be watching Superman and Lois.
Yeah, more. And also, and I agree, but that's because they keep putting that shit on the CW when they should be putting it on Max because it's associated with the CW and people don't mess with the CW. But I agree, more people should be watching.
CW's got a bad name. Just look at Batwoman.
But for the most part, when people talk about Superman and Lois, you hear nothing. I hear nothing but good things about it. If I hear anything bad about Superman and Lois, just go to the profile and guess who I see it is. Oh, it's a Snyder fan.
It's an executive producer of the Snyder Cut?
Yeah, it's one of those. If I see anything negative about Superman and Lois, for the most part, it comes from a Snyder fan.
See, and there's the problem though. This is the problem, you guys. There's the whole Marvel DC imagined feud or whatever, because like the Red Sox and the Yankees, we settled that score back in 2000, I think it was, where we determined that we were better than the Red Sox. But anyways, the DC and Marvel fans, they're not, the Marvel fans aren't the enemies of the DC fans. It's those Snyder fans, because now, in addition to the imagined Marvel universe fans that are coming for DC, like Nerdman things. But you are ignoring Nerdman. That killer is already in the house, and they are the Snyder Bros. Okay, you're not paying any attention to them, and you're just letting them do whatever they want while they systematically destroy your universe.
I'm not saying. Rogue, I'm not saying Snyder fans aren't a big problem, but MCU fans, whatever reason, whenever a DC movie comes out, and they're part of the critics as well, whenever a DC movie comes out, it ain't good enough. No matter what, it ain't good enough.
You're in Belgium again, right?
Ain't as good as our Ant-Man. You know, like what? I've had
Nerdman, where are you?
Shazam is better than Ant-Man. Shazam 1 is better than Ant-Man.
Where in the world are you located right now, Nerdman? Belgium, right?
Come on, get out of here, bro.
No, because I'm going to explain to you how American economics work, okay? When you have a fan base that is supposed to like the things that they are fans of, and they are allegedly the same things, and you have them actively shitting all over everything that comes out that doesn't have Zack Snyder's name in it, that's a problem that has nothing to do with the MCU. Okay? Because those are the people that should be inclined to like this stuff. Those guys
are fucking psychos. I get
there you go.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying there is another, the MCU fan base, as well as, these other guys, also take their turn to shit on these movies.
Especially in the early 2010s.
That's a fact.
Right.
In the 2010s, look, I'm not saying the Snyder fans right now, because DC fans in general, when it comes to these live action movies, is divided, right?
Oh, 100%.
in the early 2000s, 2010s, I noticed this too, and even now, when Shazam: Fear of the Gods came out, right? That was not a bad movie like people make it out to be. Yes, it didn't make its money like it's supposed to. Fine. Yes. But that movie is no different than what's one of the best a fucking, let me think. An Ant-Man 1.
Sorry, what film? What did you say?
Let's use Thor: Love and Thunder.
No. Go to what you said. Go to what you said, because Thor: Love and Thunder is not good. So go to what you said.
Ant-Man 1. A lot of people like Ant-Man 1. I think the movie's good. I don't think it's bad. I think it's cool. Shazam 2 has just as much heart as any other MCU movie that people like. And a lot of people will say, oh, it's still not good enough. Generic movie. But wait a minute. For years, a lot of the MCU movies do end up being just generic movies. There's some that stand out and are great. Winter Soldier, Black Panther 1, Avengers 1. But Ant-Man 2, that's a generic, like, freaking run-of-the-mill MCU movie.
Yeah.
Right.
And
nice film.
Yeah,
the difference is though, DC Dots, is that the MCU fans can come out. This is what Nerdman doesn't seem to realize. The MCU fans can say whatever they want. They can say, any movie that DC puts out is crap, any blah blah blah. But you know what? The bottom line, it's not going to affect DC's pocket, because they weren't going to spend money. If they're MCU fans and they truly hold on, Nerdman, hold on. If they truly hate DC and they're talking shit about it, then they would not spend. Nerdman, I'm speaking here. Okay.
Yeah.
If they truly did not like the DC universe, they are not going to spend any money on there. When they come out and say something terrible about a DC film, if you are a true DC fan, it's going to be white noise. You're not going to care what the hell they say about it. Okay. Now these fans today.
This is what I'm talking about. What
are you talking about? Because I'm talking about the fans that actually influence the box office. Man, Marvel fans shitting all over a DC movie isn't going to influence the box office, no matter what you think.
Have it got Unbound right now? Can we just look at this? What the fuck are you talking about, bro? Do you know that scene that they keep telling everybody, oh, it was an advert in the middle of the film, was not even meant to be an advert? There was no fucking advertising in it. It was a thing that the character would do. Tell me that is not a thing that, given the context of the character we know of fucking Darla in that movie, that she would not do that. If she wouldn't, then I'll say, oh, that's out of character. That's a weird moment. And how many fucking adverts do we see in every single fucking movie that we go and watch?
Wait, what happened?
How many
with
fucking
that?
ads do we see? Like blatant product placement. Blatant fucking product placement. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. Robert Downey Jr. talking about fucking ice cream to Doctor Strange. Like, that's the thing you're gonna do at the end of the
What
fucking
happened?
world.
What happened with the Taste the Rainbow thing?
Bro. This is what I'm talking about. It's never good enough for them. They're MCU fucking heads, right? And it's never.
Why are you assuming he's an MCU fan?
Because I know, I know the style. I know the fucking style already.
You know the style.
Wait. Let me ask the question. All right, let me ask the question, because I think this is a better example. Because I notice this a lot. Now, The Flash, right? Failed in the box office. Yeah, let me make this clear. Flash failed in the box office. That's very clear. But as far as the writing of the film, now, can everybody here agree that the writing of the film was good? The story.
I think the writing was good.
Mike, did you think the story was good?
I think the ending hurt it, but But
you guys think the story of Flash was good?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Now story. Now I like this movie too. Black Panther. I think the movie has a good story.
First one or second?
First one.
Okay.
The third act. A lot of people have agreed that third act visually does not look like quality as it should. And I do agree. Does it hurt the movie for me? No. Flash has some visual effects in it that was troubling, but not enough to the point where it is
very, very noticeable.
Yeah,
What
very
do you mean?
noticeable.
I'm not. What do you mean
more
troubling?
noticeable
Because
than
I don't. I've seen
That was-
troubling CG before, and their special effects, and to me, I wrote it off as he was in the Speed Force, and I understand that everybody might want things to look the way Quicksilver was in Days of Future Past or whatever, but they're not going to be doing that for an extended sequence. So,
well, let's say the main issue, the scenes in the Chrono Bowl when the CGI models, not just Chris Reeves, but when he's in the Speed Force in the Chrono Bowl and you see the CGI bodies.
But that things, was right. But again, he's in the Speed Force though. Like, I mean, if it was like Batman,
there was also some face problems, like when Ezra Miller was acting against Ezra Miller, like all of a sudden it became
all right. Let me. This is the point I'm trying to make. This is
I'm defending this. It's like this is the thing. So,
but
I'm an MCU fan.
Wait. Let me make the point. If someone could watch something like Black Panther 1, that in their third act of the film, the final act, has some very troubling visual effects that a lot of people have agreed do not look good, especially in the final fight with Killmonger and T'Challa. There's no way you can watch The Flash and, shit on the visual effects, but like Black Panther, that has some bad visual effects too. Because when people walked away from Black Panther, we didn't let the visual effects stop us from admitting that Black Panther has a very good story. Because at the end of the day, your product means nothing if the story is not good. You can draw a comic with some great visuals on it. If the story isn't good, fuck the visuals. If you make a video game that's a story-driven video game, the gameplay could be good, but if your story is not investing, who's going to give a fuck about it in the next 10 years?
Let me ask Havoc a question.
I think Flash had a very good story.
I'm not trying to hate on you. If you're still there, let me ask you a question. Okay. Apart from Guardians of the Galaxy 3, which is admittedly a fucking really good movie, and of course had a ton more, in terms of the visual effects, in terms of the budget, everything was more than the DC movies that came out, the last 3-4 DC movies that came out, right? So, apart from Guardians of the Galaxy 3, you've got Black Adam. I think the Batman came out. When was it? Last year? The Batman came out last year.
2022.
Yeah. So the Batman, Black Adam, Shazam! Fury of the Gods, and what was the other one? And The Flash. Are those 4 movies not better than the last 6 movies, like the last 2 years of the MCU, essentially? When you think about it,
I would say the Batman and Shazam and Flash. Black Adam is like
it's middle of the road. But
I like
what came out? Thor: Love and Thunder. What else? What else was there? Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, which
Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, Multiverse
of Madness was good. Multiverse was all right, but I don't even think. See, people are going to say, "Oh, Spider-Man, No Way Home." I don't think that was a great movie. I really don't. I think it was, at best, it was a good gimmick. It was a really, really good gimmick. But I don't think it wasn't up there in quality with Spider-Man 2. It wasn't up there in quality with Into the Spider-Verse. It wasn't, it was just a really fucking fantastic gimmick that was superbly marketed, where people had to go to the cinema to see these guys were in the movie. So, outside of that, I think I don't see this. Oh, and Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. I don't see this great track record that the MCU has had in comparison to DC with the last few movies. I think they're slightly better than the recent.
Well, that's why. Then Nerman, that's why I say, if anyone watched like Black Panther 1, or let's say No Way Home, even No Way Home has some weird visual effects with Toby and Andrew. It wasn't a bad movie visually overall. Let me make that clear. But there were some scenes in the third act where Toby looked like a straight up animated character when he had the mask on and was jumping around and stuff. Same with Andrew.
Oh no, that was just his bad acting.
No, Mike, you're taking it too far with this Toby slander now. But the point is, if your whole movie looks like is bad visually every single scene, I totally understood. But that's not the Flash. That's not No Way Home. That's not even Black Panther. Now, if the movie had just an average lacking story, I totally get it. But Flash, Black Panther, and Spider-Man, they had some really good stories. Those are story-focused movies, and people are not keeping the same energy with Flash. Like, you watched Black Panther and saw that abysmal-looking third act. You're the third act of your movie, and the visuals are not good. The third act, the act that is supposed to like really sell the movie, and it looks run-of-the-mill visually, but you can't.
I don't really look again. You know, people are gonna like whatever me, but like I don't think Black Panther was that great either. I liked what Michael B. Jordan did.
Yeah.
No, I like
you platform this stuff. DC
no.
Wait, Nerman be preaching. Look, just because he's not preaching right now doesn't mean he preaches 99.99% of the time. This was 1%.
Give me a second. Give me a second. Even though I don't love the movie, I can see that a lot of comic book fans would, and I understand the like for the movie. I just don't love that movie like the way other people do. And the CGI at the end, I don't think the CGI at the end was anywhere near as horrendous as the stuff I saw in The Flash. Maybe that's because it's a bit of tough love, because, you know, I'm more of a DC guy, you know, in terms of the movies recently. But yeah, I just don't think The Flash was up to snuff.
Yeah,
but that being said, you know, clearly every single time an MCU movie comes out, it gets at least 20 to 25% more higher scores. I mean, you just have to look at Thor: Love and Thunder. Just look at it.
Nerd
I mean, people are like
nerd man.
You know, like
if
like
the MCU had fans that shit on every single movie that came out, I think you would start to see what you are describing right now. Your hatred for the MCU is so great that you are blinded and you can't see.
I don't hate the MCU.
You can't see. You do. You do.
I loathe.
I've had MCU. 3. Oh, sorry, my bad. I'm sorry. I forgot. There was levels to your hatred, dude. But you just it's just. You're gonna eventually stop blaming the MCU for things and clean up your own house, okay?
Yo, I've given up on these movies, bro. I've given up. I don't care anymore, bro. Honestly,
real
I'll
quick,
watch the characters I love. I'll go and support any DC movie at least once in the cinema. But that's me, bro. I'm done. Like,
let me get back to the Sean Gunn thing real quick, because it's going to get to my Snyder topic that I want to bring up.
Oh, goody.
You guys, there's differences between being a Snyder fan and a Snyder shill. You can be a Snyder fan. I have no issue with anybody being a fan of Snyder. You be a fan if you want. Never, ever be a shill or fanboy or fangirl of anything. At that point, you know no reason. You don't think properly. You're crazy. You're the type of person that has a shrine of the celebrity you or whatever you idolize.
Yeah.
Be a fan. You do not need to be a shill. Sean Gunn, brother of James Gunn, is here at the protest, down there in the trenches with people protesting, right? And you have a lot of these. I remember when Black Lives Matter happened, you had a lot of online protesters and actual people on the ground protesting. Now, there's people who I think are the superior protesters in the situation, people that's actually out there, getting out there, marching, standing in front of these corporations, really, getting the picket fences, out there selling it, taking the hits that, you see, and you're taking these actual hits. Sean Gunn's out there protesting, talking about these issues and stuff they're having. You go to this comment section.
What did they say? Yeah, go. You were about to do it.
Mind you, I'm not saying all Snyder fans were, but it's just a comment section. Hollywood Reporter on Twitter. Go to this first comment here. Where's your pedo brother?
Oh God.
Mind you, he's talking about this protest. Where's your pedo brother?
Go to his profile. Is he a Snyder boy?
Oh, let's see.
I mean, I know he is already. I don't need to,
Gun bum. What the hell?
He retweeted Mercury's tweet. Yep.
Oh, of course. Oh, retweet Mercury.
We already put that out.
Yeah, so he's
Let's go to another comment. Because it's the biggest studio that doesn't employ me and my brother. Quotation marks. Boycott Warner Brothers. Boycott WBD. We know that's a Snyder fan. Next comment.
We don't. Yeah, that's a definite Snyder.
Yeah.
Josh Els. He should be protesting the CGI cameos and whole AI thing studios wanted to do. I mean, his brother is literally head of a studio that did that in a recent film. Protest DC Studios and WBD as well. Let me make this clear.
Yeah.
What his brother is doing right here.
First of all,
goes against David Zaslav, Bob Iger, Paramount, everybody. By technicality, him out here on this strike is him risking his job at Warner Brothers. If he wasn't out here protesting, everyone would have a point. But just because he's specifically focused on something else within this cause,
yeah, but his job is safer considering his brother is head of the studio. But
no. I mean, but he's still risking his job by
not really. I mean, not if your brother's literally the head of the fucking But to be fair, that comment that was just made, what were they talking about? James Gunn wasn't producer on The Flash, first of all, and secondly, when did The Flash use AI? In it,
they used some CGI. They used CGI.
Literally head of a studio that did.
AI was not used at all in the film. All it was just bad CGI and bad.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all it was.
People are at a point confusing CGI and AI and stuff now.
Well, there's a letter I in both of them. It's easy to understand.
Yeah,
and then you just got other maybe you got other comments. Maybe you should negotiate contracts. And then
this is why I got off Twitter, bro. I don't even want to see it. I honestly
but the reason I'm showing this,
what I tried to do was block all of them. I literally was trying to block anybody who has Snyder or anything. That was the first time I tried to do that because it was just it was making me mentally, because I'd be on the train and almost miss my stop to work, I'd be like, I have to fucking type this fucking thing because this is just pure lies. They don't even give a shit, and I don't know who's doing this. I don't know who's behind what. I'd love to see the fucking basement dwelling freaks behind this fucking thing, the nightmares exist behind these words.
I mean, hey. You really want to know who's a total basement freak? I mean, just look at the guy who causes all this to get worse and worse and worse. The one in charge of Geekosity named one Mikey Sutton.
Yep, and
who is Mikey? Who's that? Is he on YouTube or something?
No, okay. So Mikey Sutton is the creator of a website called Geekosity, and basically he spreads all sorts of hatefulness towards DC and WB, and has all these scoops, quote unquote, that he claims are actually legit, but they're actually total freaking lies. And his boy Syl basically also is kind of in charge of that site as well. And they do a good job when it comes to Marvel and all sorts of other stuff. I don't really know how well they are with that. But when it comes to DC, though, all it is just a bunch of hatefulness. All the stuff that you would see on Twitter, like with what we just saw, with people going after James Gunn and going after Sean Gunn, calling him out and his brother.
Bro,
that's the same stuff that you're going to see here on Geekosity.
It's got so bad, because I used to be separate art from artist. And I was whatever Ray Fisher did, I thought he was really good as Cyborg in that movie or whatever.
Right, same here.
But now I don't think I can watch a Ray Fisher movie anymore, especially after he did that tweet he did to James Gunn. I'm like, wait a second. All the people you were talking about were fired. All of them. That guy is a nuclear like zealot for the cause, bro. He's the type of guy who'd go in and strap the bomb on and fucking, you know, wipe out people. Like, it's ridiculous, bro. You lost. Not only are you, you know, like, there's no righteous cause, there's no, what was it, effect over attention or whatever the fuck he was.
Accountability over entertainment. Accountability over entertainment.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of that bullshit. You lost, bro. They did an investigation and it was an independent, and you praised the woman who was doing the investigation, and then she came out and said, yeah, bro,
there's nothing going on.
We didn't find nothing. You know, so I don't fucking get the support for this guy. You know, it's just fucking stupid. Like,
here's the thing. Okay, regardless of like how Ray Fisher is now, I will never forgive the old regime for how they treated him. I'm never going to forgive them for that.
And same. Same.
It was horrible. It was
horrible. They treated you.
Yeah, it was horrible what happened to him.
Ray Fisher.
Yeah, the way how they were treating Ray Fisher.
What did they do to him?
Okay, so you know the whole Joss Whedon situation, Justice League, that whole debacle was going on, and Joss brought in. So Joss Whedon was brought in to direct the 2017.
And whose fault was that? Whose fault was that?
That's the old.
I mean, it was certainly the management's fault. I agree with you.
Yes.
But who was screaming at fucking DC at the time? That's why I walked out of Justice League. You know, like the first time I saw it, I was like super disappointed.
Oh yeah, same here. I was disappointed with the film too.
I was hella disappointed. But I walked out and I said, you know what? I'm gonna give DC Warner Brothers a break because this is what the fucking fan base asked for. That is what you were fucking screaming at the top of your lungs for after BVS and all of that fucking bullshit. Everyone, it's too dark, it's too morose, it's too this, it's too that. That's what you fucking get. You know, so they brought in Joss Whedon. They didn't want to, you know, I thought it was a stupid idea, but it's, you know, like you gamble in the heat of fucking war, you gamble. You made a gamble, and that's it. Unless Joss Whedon sexually abused or violently attacked or did something along those lines, assaulted, you know, one of these fucking cast members, then all he was a fucking asshole director that they shouldn't have worked with again.
Right.
That's it.
Joss Whedon did do a lot of like.
What did he do? He sexually abused somebody? He touched Cyborg's pee-pee? What did he do?
Here's what happened. Gal Gadot even came out and said she didn't like working with Joss Whedon on set.
Sure.
Because there was a thing.
And what did she say about it?
Joss Whedon.
What did she say about it? He sorted it out with the heads and they dealt with it.
Right. That's the thing.
That's what she said. And then that people kept asking her, and eventually then she goes, yeah, he did some asshole shit to me.
Yeah,
Joss Whedon shouldn't be fucking.
He wanted her to do some sexual things.
Joss Whedon should not have his whole fucking career. I'm sorry. I don't like the guy. I don't really even love his movies that much. The only movie or thing that I even like of Joss Whedon was Avengers 1. And I ain't hella fucking impressed with that the way other people are. So for me to say this dude's career, the fact that he's been cancelled is bullshit, bro. It's absolute asinine fucking garbage. There's no reason for him to have been cancelled. Nothing he did other than be a little bit of a fucking asshole as a director, which countless. Go and see what this guy what was that from that George Clooney movie? The one where he's a soldier in Iraq. Go and fucking watch tapes of that guy. I'll find out his fucking name. Go and watch videos of that guy, and you come back and call me fucking Joss Whedon. No, what is his name? You Russell Crowe?
Russell Crowe? No.
I wasn't gonna say like I don't think it was. I don't really know. I mean, I don't think it would be that bad.
Somebody knows what I'm talking about.
The thing with that whole,
I'm gonna share a video with you of this fucking guy, and you come back and tell me about fucking Josh Whedon after this.
Because the thing with the investigation, right? I didn't look. The whole Justice situation to me was fucked. Right? I agree. They should have just released whatever cut they had of Zack Snyder's anyways. If they wanted to be 2 hours, whatever, just release it. If you want to move on from that, fine. But the thing is, with Ray Fisher and everything involved in it, this is why I'm iffy on Ray Fisher.
And I can understand
in general with those situations. This man back in 2017, when he was at San Diego Comic-Con, said on stage, yeah, I'm Joss Whedon. Yeah, he was a great guy to come in and take over. Yep. You know, I know he didn't believe it, but it's the fact that he said that, then sat on that for 4 years, doing I don't know what he's doing, and then when the Snyder Cut gets announced, now he wants to say something. It's like, wait a minute, you had 4 years to call this dude out, and mind you, he said some racist stuff to you. Now, the thing is with a lot of modern Black people, they're very. A lot of Black people now are going to call out more racism than usual. Even if it's not even really racist, they're going to call it out. That's just the modern Black audience. Now, I'm just saying, if you notice it, a lot of Black people nowadays, Nerman, I'm not sure if you see it, if you slightly do anything kind of racist that may not even be racist or is actually racist, you're getting called out for it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this.
There's no way Ray Fisher sat on that for 4 years and you're telling me Joss Whedon did some racist stuff to him. You're telling me this modern day Black man in this era sat on that information for 4 years and didn't drag him on the internet or anything?
Racist to him, man. Well, he didn't do anything racist to him. Or if
no. Yeah. I that's what I agree. Well, what I'm saying is,
he did do something racist. It's nothing like racist that like a lot of Black actors haven't faced. Now that isn't right. I'm not saying that's fucking right, but it's more that kind of like this stupid, like, how do you call it? I've experienced it a lot myself. It's just like people saying dumb shit to you, kind of fucking racism. You know, like white people just saying dumb shit, not like, oh, you N-word and like all Black people are pieces of shit, like like nothing like that, but just saying some dumb shit, like asking you dumb questions. Like you're just like, dude, like, don't be fucking stupid. Like, that's what it seemed happened on the set of Justice League. It wasn't,
like the whole Quasimodo thing. Y'all remember the Quasimodo thing?
Yeah.
When Ray took offense to that. When Ray said that, I was like, and I have to look. I was like, wait a minute, Quasimodo from the fucking what's that movie? The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Cyborg is Quasimodo. I mean, technically,
you can see why.
He's not that. But physically, and what his condition he's dealing with, that's a handicapped, crippled individual. I mean, if anything, Cyborg is a cripple. He's a handicap. He appeals to the handicap crowd.
We all know for a fact. Here's what happened. He faced some bullshit with Josh Whedon, granted. But most of it was because his boy Zack Snyder got slighted.
Yes.
And
that was kind of a
he wanted to come out and use anything that happened and make a much exaggerate it to the nth degree. Most of the things he was saying, tell me up till now. Do you remember he said, oh, there's loads of people, I'm hiding their identity, that he did all this shit to, but like, because they're lower down than me, I don't want to. Where are they? What have you heard any story of them coming out and saying, like after all of this fucking time, like Josh Whedon did this to me, or Jeff Johns did this to me? There was one girl off of like some Superman show that didn't even meet.
It was who's that girl? Carpenter. It was from a show he did like years ago. That came
years
out.
ago. Yeah, exactly.
Carpenter something, but it was like from the 90s when this happened. But she came out and talked to like
give credit to. He said a few off-brand remarks over the years. Like he said, honestly, you give me 5 years on fucking set of a movie, and when you're running around, you're like, especially if you're the director and you're the head of everything, you have to make sure everything fucking works. If you give me 5 years and you don't say an asshole remark to somebody, then you're not a human being. You know what I'm saying? If you have a complete fucking clean record, nothing ever fucking done when you're in that position, then you're not. You're a saint. You ought to just be fucking, in the heavens or something like that. It's not fucking possible.
Right. Because you're gonna because this thing, Ray Fisher when Zack Snyder was there, Zack gave him a lot of input on how he wanted the character to be done. And then Joss Whedon comes in, and mind you, Joss Whedon doesn't roll like that. So it's like, I'm the director, you do what I need you to do. A lot of directors like that, and there's some directors that want to take their actors' opinion on the matter a lot more. And that's the thing, right? Because dude, he just came off like Broadway stuff. Not saying Broadway stuff isn't good, but dude, you're fresh to this. They've been doing this for years. Joss Whedon's an experienced director. Same thing for Zack Snyder. But just because Zack Snyder does something doesn't mean Joss Whedon's going to do the exact same thing. They're totally two different directors. Even hell, Henry Cavill said for many years, I want to play a more light and hopeful Superman. I know he probably showed that to Zack, like, come on, Zack, can we do something different? Like, no, man, this is my vision. I want to do this. And then Henry, since he's up and coming, like, all right, let's do it. I'll just ride along with it. Never got really to that point to be this light and hopeful Superman he wanted.
Superman, and that's why he's so sensitive about The Witcher. You see,
right?
That's why he's like, no, I want it comic. I want it like to be accurate. Blah blah blah. And that's why he's got in trouble in the set of Witcher. I feel kind of sorry for Henry Cavill now. He went through this experience with Superman, and he's like, I'm not letting that happen again. And he got fucked over for it.
And see, with that situation, I'm not saying Zack. I don't think Zack's a bad dude for telling Henry, like, yo, this is my vision. I want to do it. He's a director. I totally understand that. But then it's like, wait a minute. You give Ray Fisher more, and I understand why he wanted to. He's a black character, but still, you gave Ray Fisher more opportunity to give input on how he wants his character to be done. But Henry Cavill, who done more films than Ray at that moment, and it was already been in 2 Superman films, is asking, hey, Zack, let's do something lighter. Let's do something different. And you're like, nah, man, we're going to do my vision. But the Broadway guy,
I don't know. Do you think Henry Cavill did that? Like, I don't know. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I'm not sure about that. But I certainly know that Zack is a director.
Yeah.
He is.
Who really does give the people leeway, and I think he's a really good director in that terms. But as you're saying, that is not necessarily like how every director is going to be. And unfortunately, this kid from Broadway comes on, and he's with this director at first, and then another director comes on, and all of a sudden that takes on the level of being abusive. The fact that they don't like working with each other. That's all it was. They didn't like working with each other.
Ray Fisher went in.
Go on.
Ray Fisher was thinking he was like, not saying he would exactly, but like, you're not an RDJ for your franchise. You're not the Chris Evans of your franchise. You are
right.
It's not to say you can't eventually get to have more input or say, or even executive producer credits to, really do more, but you are fresh. If you're coming fresh into a new job, you can't just come in there and like act like, you can run the shots. I'm not saying you need to accept all the bullshit that comes with it, call out the bullshit, but You're fresh. You're the new guy. You're new to this. Everybody else been here doing this longer. It's what you think it should be is not what it is. But I don't think you should just accept bullshit, right? But the bullshit Ray Fisher was gassing up Like the barber thing. Like, dude, I get it. You want your barber to give you credit. You had half a haircut the whole movie. He had a haircut that most black people have, a regular buzz cut with some waves. Like, I'm not saying the barber can't get no credit, but credit for something my fucking dad can do. He's no barber, but he can do the same exact haircut Ray Fisher had in the whole movie.
It's complete nonsense. Look,
like
if we want to give the barber credit, that's why when Darkness Under the Wind.
Yeah, what's up?
Is that your name?
Yeah, that's the name. Yes, that's the name. That's the name.
Okay, sorry, bro. Sorry.
You're good.
That's why when you were saying about this abuse thing, I'm just like, if he was abused, if something really happened to him, he did not present it very well. Not to the masses anyway. Like, I can imagine something happened, like that was super racist or whatever, because I know what it's like to be a black person, and I never dismiss what a black person has to say about, like, you know, experiencing racism in the workplace and experiencing that kind of stuff. I know it fundamentally in every fiber of my being. But he presented it terribly, if that was the case of what happened to him. And what it leads me to believe is he had an agenda, and some bad things happened to him, and he wanted to exaggerate and blow them up so as to hurt the people who supposedly hurt his friend, Zack Snyder. And it backfired on him, because if he had a shut up, I really, truly, in my fucking heart of hearts, believe that they would have made Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 and 3. If he didn't say anything, Zack Snyder's 2 and 3 would have been on the way after Zack Snyder's Justice League dropped on HBO Max. They would have been
he probably would have been in the Flash movie. Remember the original script that had him in it?
He would have been in the Flash movie.
He could have been in it.
He would have been in the Flash movie.
As long as Walter
I guarantee, even if it was like a separate universe or something like that, they would have been like, "Wow, this is a success. People actually like this. People are actually ready for what Zack Snyder was trying to do when it was too early to try and do that shit." You know, like. Because, you know, like he tried to do that like all the way back in 2013. People weren't ready for these deconstructions of characters and all of this kind of the mess that he was doing. People were ready for it by the time Zack Snyder's Justice League came out, because there'd been 30 happy-go-lucky superhero movies and people wanted something new. You know? Right. And so I honestly think they would have gone with it. I honestly think by now we would have probably seen the Suicide Squad, you know, this version that they keep wanting to come out. I think we would have seen that.
Hey, Nerdman, there's a chance it could come out during the strike now. The Warner Brothers don't really got no content like that.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not saying it will release, but it's a chance they could just release it just to see what.
I don't think they will, because I think Gunn doesn't want that kind of smoke. Because if it's better than his Suicide Squad movie, or even they'll just gas it up, even if it isn't, and say it's better than his Suicide Squad movie, you don't want that kind of smoke, man.
I mean, honestly,
you know what I'm saying? Like, even if it's do you get what I mean? Like, even if it isn't, they'll probably gas it up to say, "Oh,
right."
Well, see, me personally, I don't even think it should release. I believe Zack Snyder's movie deserves a release more than David Ayer's Suicide Squad. That's what I believe. Yes, both of their movies got changed around, but not to the degree of what Zack Snyder envisioned. Yeah. And the situation with his daughter passing away and the whole, you know, that added it was just sleazy. It was a very fucked up situation. Not what David Ayer went through. Because with David Ayer, and this is what I disliked about David Ayer after the movie came out, he was gassing up that 2016 cut, if y'all remember that. And then it was like 2 years later after that, he started to like stop promoting it. And then he's like, "Oh, that's not my cut." Like, dude, you was literally promoting it and gassing it up. What happened?
Like it was.
Like, and then he wants.
Is it your cut of the movie? And he was like, "Yeah, this is my cut of the movie." I don't know. There was no other cut. Like, I remember him saying that shit, and then they did an extended cut of it, and it was even worse than the one in the cinemas. Honestly, I was like, I saw the extended cut, and I was like, dude, this is worse than the one that I saw in the fucking cinemas. And I didn't mind the one. I know I'm in a minority of all minorities. This is the most minority I've ever been. This is more minority than me being black. Is how minority I am in this situation. I like this. I like the Suicide Squad 2016, so I didn't mind it. I didn't think it was great, but like I thought it was an okay movie. I had fun with it. And so when I saw the extended cut, I just thought, wow, like you don't need to do anything more to this movie. I don't need to see anymore. I doubt the cut is going to be better, but I'd like to see it. But I really have doubts that it's going to improve things the way he thinks it will.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from, but I mean, hey, I mean, at this point, it's just like I don't know what's gonna happen. I mean, obviously, a bunch of these the crazies out there, if this were to happen, they're gonna take claim. They're gonna be like, oh, hey, it was because of us. It was because of what we were doing with our hashtags. This movie was able to be released. Yay!
Yeah, it's not like, all right, the Snyder Cut. We don't need to keep revisiting old cuts and stuff. But real quick, before I segue into bringing up what Ron Perlman said. This is my chance to slander the MCU. Mike is gone. Nerdman. Did you see the clip with Tom Holland? Did you see the clip with Tom Holland?
No, what happened?
What Tom?
All right. So Tom Holland recently just did a TV show, and he had a new scene that came out. And let me make this clear, guys. I'm not making fun of the action he's doing. Let me make that clear. Let me just make that clear. I have no issue with what he's doing and who he's doing it with. Because I don't have nothing against those people. I got friends that are part of that community. Got no issue with that. But this is my chance to tear down the MCU because Tom Holland, I thought you was a top, but we kind of find out he's nothing but a bottom.
What's happened? What are you talking
about? I'm kind of.
I'm about to tell you. I'm about to tell you,
bro. I'm kind of scared for you right now.
God.
All right. Tom Holland, you're exposed. Tom Holland is now exposed.
What the fuck? Oh God!
He tried. Look at him trying to copy Joaquin Phoenix Joker's look.
God, what the?
He's trying to be Joaquin Phoenix Joker.
What film is this?
It's a TV show. It's a new
His
TV
performance
show.
is already better than his Spider-Man performance. What? Oh, it's this TV show.
Yeah, it's on Apple TV.
Apparently, it's got like pad. People don't really. I don't. There's something about Tom Holland. I really don't believe him as an actor. I don't believe him as an actor. I really don't.
Oh God!
I think he's gonna. I don't know, man. We'll see. But
that was
before you go on to the next topic, just to put a button on this this Josh Whedon thing, can you share this just a little clip of this David O. Russell guy? I can't believe you haven't seen Three Kings. Have you guys not seen Three Kings with George Clooney?
Is that movie Ice Cube?
Ice Cube? Yeah.
Oh, damn. Okay.
I haven't seen it in a while, but yeah, I know the movie you're talking about now. I have not seen it in years.
Wow.
It's a good movie, but yeah,
I need to rewatch it.
George Clooney in it, so there's only a certain George Clooney has only done one film that I can watch multiple times. You want to guess which one it is?
A George Clooney film?
Yeah.
I can't think of any George Clooney films right now. I don't know. What is it?
You want to go
now
for it?
Now he wants to know.
I'm interested.
You want to go for it? You want to try it? Darkness?
I mean, I don't know. I mean,
you're gonna kick yourself when I tell you.
Okay. I mean, okay. I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean,
From dusk till dawn.
Oh yeah, this. Oh.
Oh, you talking about a movie he acted in? I thought you was referring to directing. Oh yeah,
No.
That movie's amazing. That's like, yes.
I can put that on any time, and I just vibe to it, man. Like, it's just such a good movie.
Oh, did you see the sequels? Did you see the sequels?
Yeah, I did kind of see them, but like,
they're not good.
they were.
So that's how two Peter.
Go in a minute. Breakfast.
Yes, how Peter got paid for it. But I think Tom Holland did that just to get revenge on Zendaya for this because they're both dating in real life. So this is what she got coming up.
Yeah,
in her TV show or her movie. So yeah, I think Tom Holland did that just to get revenge. You know,
revenge.
He's always on it in all of her movies, bro. She is properly on it. Did you see that movie she did with Denzel Washington's boy?
The Netflix movie,
yeah,
the black and white Netflix movie.
Yeah, that bro had his nose in her ass, bro.
Oh my god!
Man, he did.
Nose in her ass, bro.
And that's the thing. I think at this point Tom Holland's doing any
she looked excited. That wasn't acting, bro. She looked excited when he stuck his nose in her ass. She was like, "Ooh."
Oh
God. Blessing said I should have known when he was dancing to Rihanna Umbrella. And he was getting it. He had some dance moves. You know, he kind of looked he didn't look good in the dress, but hey, he was doing it with them dance moves.
Yeah.
No, don't lie. He looked good in that dress.
He looked all right. He's just too buff. Look, buff dudes can't really.
It was him at first. Like when I saw it, I was looking at it for a while. I'm like, is that fucking Tom Holland? I swear to God, I didn't know it was him.
Rihanna.
I think you showed me that even, but you didn't tell me who it was.
Yeah, I showed you on stream because we was doing a stream with Ashley, and then she was talking about Tom Holland, and then I put this on screen to combat her.
Oh God, I remember this.
He was dancing though. He was doing his thing. I can't take that away from him.
No, he was on it, man. He was on it. No doubt.
Man, he doesn't look that bad.
No doubt, bro. He was on
right
it.
there.
You know what? He looks like that current female wrestler. Not sure if you guys know who I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, I know. The one who's with Eddie Guerrero's son.
Yeah,
he called her Mama or something.
Oh, Rhea Ripley.
Yeah.
Yeah, he kind of looks like her.
Yeah, Rhea Ripley.
Except less tough.
Rhea Ripley, yeah.
Yeah, Rhea Ripley.
She looks tougher, doesn't she?
Oh yeah, no, she does. She does.
She looks like a tank.
Oh, good lord.
She's actually quite good. I quite like her character or whatever I've seen of it, because I don't watch wrestling. It's stupid, but like the clips I've seen.
Hey, I'm a wrestling fan, buddy. So I mean, it's like, hey, I mean.
No, I like wrestling from the 90s and stuff like that, but I just think the wrestling these days, like, they don't have the characters anymore, man. You need to throw me some Mr. Perfects and Ted DiBiase's, you know, some Ric Flairs.
Yeah, well,
I don't watch wrestling like that at all. Like, never really did. But losing Vince McMahon, as in, mind you, he did some fucked up stuff, but that motherfucker Vince McMahon, he knew how to entertain. He's a piece of shit, but that motherfucker knows how to entertain like crazy.
When he comes out there and he just comes wobbling out when he walks out, he's like,
that dude is completely funny. Like, not in a bad way, but in a good way. You don't have like that type of entertainer with this stuff anymore, because there's so many funny bits with that guy. That's
when you have to, it started with the Hulkamania area with your macho mans, your what's his name?
Macho Man Randy Savage.
What was his name? Ravishing Rick Rude, Jake the
Ravishing Rick
Snakes.
Rude.
Those guys, their matches weren't all that exciting, but the way they built them up, it was so good that that was the entertainment, their characters. And now I feel it's more about the wrestling. And that's good, whatever, but in the end, if you don't buy into the character, it's kind of like hard to really
engage
in what's happening in the ring.
It's hard to kind of pay attention to what's kind of going on with the whole story that's kind of being told, and when the whole wrestling then comes into play, then it's kind of like, it just adds in a lot of other confusing elements, basically, when you're into one thing and then like the other thing kind of blends into it.
And I think one of the things, it's not like they're messed up. I understand why it's changed, but it ultimately hurt wrestling. Was they used to have jobbers come on every week?
Oh, they still have that. Well, not now. Not
as much as they did in like the 80s and stuff like that. As soon as the Attitude Era came along, it was like every week you were getting matches that used to be pay-per-view matches, but you were getting them on the show, right?
Right.
And
that's true.
That ultimately, I get it, because you couldn't keep just doing like, Legion of Doom come in and destroy Matt Joseph or something like that, local Matt Joseph, but the good thing about that format was like you had to build up to see like Ultimate Warrior versus Hulk Hogan, or Ultimate Warrior versus match, and so I think that's another issue. It's like every week you're just like, all the big stars are like fighting each other. Now I've seen Roman Reigns versus what's his name? What's the other guy from the Shield?
What's the other guy's name?
Seth Rollins. Now I've seen that like 50 times now. Like, it's not exciting. Or Roman Reigns versus.
Here's the thing, though. With that though, there's so much history there to where Roman's title reign that he has right now is kind of like the perfect opportunity to just kind of end that whole feud with Seth Rollins, end that chapter once and for all, and end it at the event where he and Rollins like debuted at. I would say, like, because I want to see that, and here's why. The reason why I would want to see Reigns and Rollins fight again, but this time the next time they fight is like the final time they do fight, and we never like see them fight again, is just because there's so much history between those two. And the last time they fought was in January of 2022, and there was no clear winner that night. Reigns retained by getting himself literally disqualified against Seth. So because of what happened there, I've been wanting to see them have a rematch again, but this time there'd be a clear winner. So because of the event that they both debuted at is coming up in a few months, I would say that like just at this point, have the feud between those two just end at the event that they debuted at, and then just have them never feud again. Like do it one more time, but have it be at the event that they debuted at, and then never let them fight again.
But that's not going to happen. It's going to be the next John Cena versus Randy Orton, which was another thing that brought me to tears. It was just like, how many times are these fucking guys going to fight, dude? Like The Rock and Stone Cold fought like 4 times.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like 4 times in the whole time they were there. That was exciting.
Right.
You didn't see it a lot. But anyway, what did Ron Perlman say that you've been trying to get us onto?
You guys seen the show Sons of Anarchy?
No, I haven't been watching it. No.
I've heard of it.
Just know he's part of a biker gang in that show. Real quick, let me show this because Solo brought it up. Peak wrestling right here. How you do it? Destructive move, 10 points. But that's not what I want to show. So Ron Perlman was in a TV show where he played in a biker gang.
Okay.
And I think he's very much channeling his inner biker here. Let's look at this. Let's look at this scene right here. Well, not scene, but this came out, I think, today, and this is him talking about the comment made by the Hollywood executive that said they are waiting until these people lose their jobs for them to give in. So I'm about to play this real quick.
It's on silent, bro.
You can hear it?
Yeah,
No.
we can't hear it.
All right, let me share the audio.
He always does this.
Hey, blame StreamYard. All right. Let's go.
One thing before I get off this. The motherfucker who said we're going to keep this thing going until people start losing their houses and their apartments. Listen to me, motherfucker. There's a lot of ways to lose your house. Some of it is financial. Some of it is karma. And some of it is just figuring out who the fuck said that. And we know who said that. And where he fucking lives.
Oh, shit.
You wish that on people. You wish that families starve while you're making $27 fucking million a year for creating nothing. Be careful, motherfucker. Be really careful. Because that's the kind of shit that stirs shit up. Peace out.
Damn.
I'm not sure if he was acting or being honest. I don't know. But
he was being real. He was being real, bro. He was being real. Straight up calling him out like that, dude.
I'm not gonna lie. That kind of sent some chills down my spine. I was like, oh shit. You're so damn real. I mean, he was being honest. I'm not saying he's faking it.
No, he's not.
You would think he would be acting. You would think he's sending in a audition tape. For of a tough guy.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really. All right, whatever. He threatened him, whatever. But like, I don't believe he's gonna do shit. So
yeah, I don't think he's gonna do it. I'm not saying he is, but that was
he's not.
That was a straight up threat. He did. So it is implied that Bob Iger said that. That's what a lot of people are thinking. They don't know which executive said it. They're not sure David Zaslav said it or the owner of Paramount. They're not sure, but people are saying it's Bob Iger because Bob Iger has been very vocal recently against the strike. David Zaslav has not really said nothing against it. It's just Bob Iger. He's been saying some outlandish stuff about this strike.
What did Bob Iger say before I go? Because I have to head out.
Let me show you.
Give me a little tidbit.
Oh, dude, you're gonna be a little surprised with what you hear what Mr. Iger said. Pretty much proven he's no better than a lot of the greedy Hollywood executive fucks out there. Let's just say that.
Well, so this is him on CNBC. It's where he got pretty much roasted.
Oh, yeah.
Regarding this, but this is him speaking on the strike.
We're in the midst of a writer's strike, and very likely it would seem to have a actor's strike. How is that going to impact things, and what are your expectations there?
Well, I think it's very disturbing to me. We've talked about disruptive forces on this business and all the challenges that we're facing and the recovery from COVID, which is ongoing. It's not completely back. This is the worst time in the world to add to that disruption. I understand any labor organization's desire to work on the behalf of its members to get the most compensation, to be compensated fairly based on the value that they deliver. We managed as an industry to negotiate a very good deal with the Directors Guild that reflects the value that the directors contribute to this great business. We wanted to do the same thing with the writers, and we'd like to do the same thing with the actors. There's a level of expectation that they have that is just not realistic. And they are adding to a set of challenges that this business is already facing that is, quite frankly, very disruptive.
So they're not being realistic?
No, they're not.
Why not?
I can't answer that question. I respect their right and their desire to get as much as they possibly can in compensation for their people. I completely respect that. I've been around long enough to understand that dynamic and to appreciate it. but you also have to be realistic about the business environment and what this business can deliver. It has been a great business for all of these people, and it will continue to be, even through disruptive times. But, being realistic is imperative.
What do you do in the interim then? Does AI
Well,
start to write a lot of scripts?
It will have a very, very damaging effect on the whole business, and unfortunately,
The strike will.
There's huge collateral damage in the industry to people who are, who are support services. I could go on and on. It will affect the economy of, different regions, even because of just the sheer size of the business. It's a shame. It is really a shame.
So yeah, that's how Bob Iger felt about it.
Yeah, dude exposed himself for being corrupt.
I mean, Darkness Under Wind, this is kind of what I was talking about. Now, I know that he's being a hypocrite because he pays himself, I'm sure, very handsomely. And he's probably, out of everyone that he talked about, discussed in that situation, the least important to making movies. Like actors, I would say directors, and actors are very important, but
right.
I think writers have been done so much fucking dirty, like over the years, it's ridiculous. Like the way they hold up directors and they don't hold up screenwriters in the same way. Like you don't hear about like writers like you hear about Scorsese is bullshit. Because there's nothing. You've got nothing without a writer, like zero. Right. And I understand like directors can come in and make a script that is okay, like amazing, if they're a really good director. But nonetheless,
but you don't got many directors that can write. Some can write, but you don't got some that are experts in it. While you hire,
just look at Patty Jenkins on Wonder Woman 84, and then you understand.
And write the script at the same time. Like for example, and I don't mean to cut you off there, man. But
no, go.
Yeah, so but because it's like for example, like if you look at directors and writers like Matt Reeves, for example, James Gunn, Zack Snyder, there are like those are the only three I can think of right now.
He's not a writer director, Zack Snyder, is he really?
I think Zack.
He wrote Army. He wrote some Army of the Dead, but he's not a good
screenplay trash though. That's what I'm saying. Like
he's not a good screenplay writer, but he does. I know, right? But he's not a good screenplay writer.
He helps.
He can pitch a good story. He can pitch a good story. I'll give him that. He can pitch a good story.
Yeah, but bottom line, I just said that because like he knows, like he directs and he has wrote some things in the past, so I just use that as an example. But yeah, like not a lot of like directors though have a big credit though, or have a lot of like expertise when it comes to directing and writing. Definitely not as much as like Reeves and Gunn. So because it's like
absolutely. Like or like the classics like Woody Allen or Quentin Tarantino, or there's not a lot of director writers like that. But what I'm saying is like that's the issue. Like writers, I really, really see like out of all of them, like deserve to be, because they're not as replaceable, really, as a director, kind of, unless you're talking about like Spielberg or something like that. Directors are ultimately replaceable. It's a real talent and skill, and it's amazing. But if I could teach K-Dots to be a director, you know what I'm saying? Like it's not I can't teach somebody to be a writer.
Right.
Like you could teach anybody. Now, whether they'll be a good director or a bad director or whatever, or somewhere in between, but the skill set you actually need to become a director can be taught to anybody.
Because if you look at some TV shows, right? They have some cases where actors in the show will direct an episode and they never directed anything ever. Might be a good episode, might be a bad episode, but it's clear it's probably coached a lot. Or did they really even direct it? Who knows if they direct the episode? But there's cases where they have people that don't direct that comes in and directs an episode or produces it.
Right.
And they don't have no experience doing that stuff.
Yeah. So it's easier to teach someone to do that than to be a writer. Really, it really is. And then, you know, on top of that, like with actors, yes, that is a skill set that requires, I think, some natural talent, but still, it's more teachable than being a writer. So that's all I'm saying. Like, I think writers need to get like that because actors and directors get all the fucking love.
Yeah.
Like when you think about it. And then of course you've got the actors who are just part, like, you know, like have little parts. Those people really have, you know, I think a case, you know, for being underpaid, undervalued, that kind of thing. So I agree with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, but what Bob Iger was saying there is kind of what I'm talking about. Like, you know, post-COVID, the challenges Hollywood are facing and what consumers are demanding of Hollywood, you know, we have a part to play in this. We've been demanding them to put movie quality shit on fucking on TV. Otherwise, we ain't gonna watch it. And that means the writers, the actors, the directors, all of them get paid less because the production of the thing is so high. Plus, there's less episodes. So when writers were working for like Friends or Frasier or, you know, like Columbo or like all of those old shows where it's like you have like 50 fucking episodes per season, they get paid, you know, like for each episode. Now they're getting paid for 9, maybe 8, sometimes 6. You know, that makes a hell of a lot of difference.
You know, this show does not have a budget anywhere near an MCU TV show, but it's just the amount of time you give to your team to work on something. Like this shot here, it's not on the level of like a Disney Plus project, but this is not a bad looking shot for a CW TV show.
Yeah, it doesn't look bad.
Like I was shocked myself when I saw it. I was like, what the fuck is this shit? Like the visual effects are like, whoa. I was shocked because it appears, you know, the people working on this got some time to, you know, make something and actually got to, you know, given time to work on all this stuff.
Right.
And you don't
look great. They look like movie level effects.
Right.
And now they pushed it so that now people are going to expect that from TV shows. You know, it's like a vicious cycle.
I think it hurt a lot of people.
This is why I've never been a big person for these like movie level TV shows. I'm just like, I never thought the business made sense. It never made sense to me. And now it's all coming out and we're seeing how they were able to make that. And it was by fucking sticking it to the fucking artists who are making that shit. It's the only way you can do it.
Well, man, Bob Iger did agree, and we all said this for the past couple months with the MCU shows, that they have been putting out too much, right? Since he stepped away and he recently came back.
Yeah.
One of the issues, you know, is I think the bigger issue is the writing, but also the quantity. They're putting out too much MCU shows, and it diluted the brand to the point where the MCU does not feel as special. Right. Honestly, we need to go back to, if they're going to do these TV shows, fine, or at least like maybe 2 shows a year and 2 movies.
You know what? That's the same thing. That's the same amount
2
of
shows, 2 movies. That's it. Because you want to make every year feel special. You want to make every year with this
one show. And
that's fine. 1 show, 2 movies.
1 show, 2 movies, I would say, for both brands, not just MCU, for DC, Marvel. As well.
And you don't want to put out too much to dilute it because you got to make it feel special,
right?
To come to this stuff.
Well, here's the other thing too. It's because of like, you know how like everything is like connected when it comes to the MCU. Like you got to watch this in order to get this. You got to watch this in order to get that. You got to watch this in order to get that. Well, I mean, doing that is going to help the audience more, and it's going to make people that aren't interested in a certain project not want to, like, obviously not really want to watch that right now, or they don't want to watch it just not at all, because it's like when they say that, like, oh yeah, we're going to have a project not a lot of projects be shown when it comes to shows and all that. When they say that, they're also kind of saying at the same time that, yeah, not everything we're going to be having is also going to be connected, which I think they're going to make that announcement soon, if I am to make a prediction on that. And I think that that's going to be a great strategy.
Once they do that, their brand is fucked. It's not a good idea. They need to just make less and really leave it connected, and so does DC.
Yeah.
You can't. That's the special sauce. That's the secret sauce, bro, of the MCU success. Because it ain't the quality of their fucking shit. I can tell you that much. It is not the quality.
It's the connectivity. Because we remember when Infinity War came out. I remember a lot of people on the internet were saying, "Man, I wonder how Iron Man's going to talk to Doctor Strange. Like, what dialogue is going to come out of it?" Because people want to see those interactions.
That is
recently with Deadpool 3, like just seeing Deadpool and Wolverine together for the first time is Hugh Jackman in the suit about to fight.
That was cool, dude. Oh,
by the way, guys, I have to go, but I'll be listening. Right. Peace, guys. It's so nice to talk to all of you, and yeah,
all right.
Cool.
Nice, see ya.
Peace, nerd man. Well, yeah, guys. I mean, I don't really have any more topics to hit or cover. I think tomorrow, me and Nerdman and maybe some other people will talk about the My Adventure with Superman episode 3. I liked the episode, thought it was good, but we're going to dedicate a solo stream to that tomorrow, and maybe another topic. Might talk about the Godzilla Minus movie that comes out this year.
Yeah, the trailer for that looked pretty good, I must say.
For the Godzilla movie.
Yeah, it didn't look that bad. I
was shocked.
It looked fine. If it looked fine, I was like, oh, it's good.
Well, I was shocked because I think this is technically, I don't know how much it's going to be a person in the suit, but that's technically, this looks like going to be the very first like Toho specific visual effects heavy Godzilla movie.
Yep.
Rather than practical.
Yeah, exactly.
And it actually looked fine. It didn't look bad.
Yeah, exactly. Because that basically just made it look more menacing and just made it more great visually done. And it didn't look like it was like just like it didn't look like an actual costume that that they were like filming, and there's like, oh, it's an actual costume.
There have been some good Godzilla film costumes, but those didn't come into play until like I'd say after the 80s. Like Godzilla 2000 and stuff had a very good design for a costume.
Yeah, that didn't look that
like great. The early Toho era Godzilla movies had some funky looking costumes. But no, tomorrow we will discuss it and talk about it.
All right.
Over this stuff. But Darkness, thank you for coming on.
No problem. Thank you for inviting me on.
You guys don't know how long the strike is going to last. Hopefully, hopefully they come to a conclusion on both sides soon. But I hope that the writers and actors stick out longer than 100 days if this does go on. Yeah, because it needs to go longer than the last strike if they don't give in.
Yeah,
that's the only way it's going to make an impact. Last strike lasted 100 days. This strike, either they come to a conclusion earlier than 100 days, but if they don't, the writers and actors are going to have to thug it out until then. So this is what I would say. This is what I'd say to the writers and actors. Get some other jobs in the meantime. You can still do your protesting, but, if you got to do DoorDash or whatever to, still make a living somewhat, do it. Don't just completely count yourself out and act like you're invincible from this stuff. Like, you still got to support yourself even in these times right now. Still go protest, but support yourself too. Get another job in the meantime.
Right, exactly. And it's like the other thing too, it's just like, I mean, hey, when this strike is over, hopefully these studios do realize that, we can't do something like this anymore. And we can't mistreat them. Like, we can't do, like, we got to pay them a little more. We got to just make them happy in general. Like, hopefully that happens. Right. If not, then folks, boy, oh boy, we're gonna be in for one hell of an interesting ride if they're still gonna be their old selves and still treat them like shit even after this is over. So we just gotta wait and see what happens.
Right. Let me get WZ's last comment, then we're gonna head out. I, for one, am happy with this is happening. We are simply getting too much of everything. Let them take their time, getting the deal they want. We are at peak consumerism. Cole.
Yeah, I can't believe you're still on.
Oh, we was actually about to close up.
Yeah.
Did you want to give a quick opinion on the recent stuff with Ron Perlman and Sean Gunn?
Well, I don't know it fully, so I can't really speak on it. But I mean,
do you at least want to see what Ron Perlman said?
Sure. I mean, I know what Sean Gunn said, and then I mean, when Snyder Bots bashed Sean Gunn for protesting. Yeah, it was only like a handful of them. They all got fucking ratioed. So I mean, whatever.
Everyone's making fun of them for how many times they just look like absolute idiots when they post something like that.
Yeah, so it just shows they're dying off now, which is good. And then Ron, like even their their most popular accounts, like they used to get like, even though they did get like thousands of replies ratio, they used to get 2 to 3 K likes, but now they only get like 500. So it just shows, but. Well, let's see what he said.
Wait, Cole, you didn't see what Ron said, right?
No.
Okay, let me play it for you. Right. This was his comment on the executive that said.
I mean, I remember I remember him talking about things, so maybe I have, and I just don't remember. But I don't think I remember.
But it's recent. This came out today. I'm playing.
Okay.
It came out today.
One thing before I get off this: the motherfucker who said we're going to keep this thing going until people start losing their houses and their apartments. Listen to me, motherfucker. There's a lot of ways to lose your house. Some of it is financial, some of it is karma, and some of it is just figuring out who the fuck said that. And we know who said that, and where he fucking lives. There's a lot of ways to lose your house. You wish that on people. You wish that families starve while you're making $27 fucking million a year for creating nothing. Be careful, motherfucker. Be really careful. Because that's the kind of shit that stirs shit up. Peace out. The one thing before I get off.
Wow.
Yep, he wasn't playing all right. Yep, he goes. Oh boy.
No, it's good on him, and I hope the executive who said that gets snuffed. That's all I'll say.
Yeah.
Well, we hope he gets snuffed by love and compassion.
Oh yeah, right. We don't want this channel to end up like MSK's, right? Okay,
yeah, we're not trying to be MSK.
When I say snuffed, I mean just snuff doesn't mean that it means like keep quiet. That's what it means. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh God.
You know what I mean. You know what I mean.
I do. Cole is the assassin, guys. All right, guys. So we do need help. I need to try out this new Exo Primal game. Just released today.
All
need
right.
to try this out.
Exo Primal.
Yep. Cole, tomorrow we're gonna do the My Adventures of Superman episode 3 review. Okay. Not sure if you've seen episode 2 yet. Did you see 2?
Yeah. I've seen 2. I'll see 3. Just what time though? Because
I'll let you know.
Just because
7 in the morning. 7 in the morning. I'll give you a time.
Okay, because it's like in the morning or sometime or whatnot. I forgot when, but Max said.
Yeah, it'll be like probably 12 p.m. Pacific when we do it. But it definitely like early in the morning.
Hopefully that works. But because Max said wants me on his stream for that Mission Impossible review, I guess, and that might be around the same time, like maybe 10 a.m. my time. So we'll Central time. So we'll see.
Got it. All right, guys. Thanks for coming on. Shouts out Cole. Shouts out Darkness Under the Wind. You guys have a great day, great night, wherever you're at. So that peace, love, positivity, all that jazz. Don't do drugs, like I always say.
Pay your actors and writers, Hollywood.
Yeah.
Facts. Deuces.
Yeah.
Sony.
What'd you do?